What's happening? Welcome to the 38th episode of the Slapstream with Djordje live from Slapsville. It seems that you guys really like Psychobilly, so I decided to maybe have a little Psychobilly kind of a little bit more often, but I still prefer to keep the diversity and show the world how slap bass is still the coolest and that you can apply it in any music genre and be the coolest guy in the band. Before I introduce my today's guest, I would like to give a huge shout out to all the all the people that joined my Patreon, our Patreon. Please check out the Patreon link in the description under the video. And if you want to donate and support all these crazy slap bass ideas that I have, besides Patreon, you can do donations via Venmo and PayPal. All the links are in the description of the video. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, make sure to do that. And what else? Like and share and all of that. All right, before I become serious YouTuber, I would like to introduce my today's guest. We toured together, and he plays in one of the, I guess, most active psychobilly bands nowadays. And without further ado, Colin the Dead, Colin Irvine from the Brains.
Hello,
Hey,
everyone. Hello, Josue.
what's happening? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Same old, same old. We're still in lockdown. I can't go on the road, so I'm just slapping at home and trying to stay sane in these crazy
Oh
times.
yeah, we all do. How have you been? What were you doing during all this? You know, all this time, since we stopped living normal life.
Yeah. So we were actually on tour when this whole thing kicked off, and maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks into the tour, we got sent home because all the venues were getting shut down and everything. So, like a lot of people, at first, I was just basically sitting around at home drinking too much, and then after that, I was like, oh, okay, this might last a while. I can't keep this up, so I decided to start a YouTube channel, which is still in its very early stages, and then. My wife and I also conceived a child, so
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna have a baby in a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks. Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you, thank you. So
That's
yeah,
exciting.
I've been busy.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right. Well, those are all good news. Um, for all the viewers, Colin's YouTube channel link is also in the description of the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well and follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, cool. So, were you doing any shows, any live streams or something during this past year?
We haven't done any live stream shows. Uh, it's logistically a little bit difficult because we're all kind of spread out around Canada right now. Renee's on the West Coast. I'm over here on the East Coast. Um, we had a
Where do you
couple.
live?
I live in Montreal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Renee's in Vancouver. And our drummer Guillaume, he's also in Montreal right now. And yeah, so we had toyed with the idea of it. Um, and then there was a venue in another city not far from here, Quebec City, that was doing these great concert series. But the the only time they had available was next week or the week after that, I think. And that's right around the time that I'm going to be having my kids. So
Oh,
I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's super risky. If this kid comes a day early, we're fucked.
yeah, yeah. Well, hope you're going to be able to do it. Something, I'm surprised that we still cannot, jam kind of in a real time,
Yeah,
during
there's
this
so many
year.
latency issues.
Yeah,
Even with real hotshot internet, it's still not good.
yeah, it's weird. They should have all the scientists should have spent this past year, figuring that out.
Yeah,
Uh,
forget finding a vaccine. Let's get some fucking streaming technology.
Okay, so we have some comments here. Okay, so Betty is saying that I sound a bit muffled. Well, I don't know what to do. I can push my volume up, but I don't think that's a great idea considering that Colin is a bit low. So can you push your sound up a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Try
Let's do
that.
that.
Is that a little better?
Yeah. All right, people.
All right.
Jan. Okay. So anyone? All right. So hopefully somebody gonna reply.
Yeah, hopefully that sounds better now. I'll choke up on my mic a bit.
Okay. So everybody wants you louder.
Okay, all right. I'll bump it up. No problem there. We'll try that.
Okay. I hear you perfectly, but you know, I
Yeah, I
don't
hear
know.
you well too.
Okay. All right. We have some for high production.
Oh, Ronnie. Oh, Ronnie de la Muerte. There we go. There's your gain, Ronnie. Enjoy.
Okay. All right. So Nick says that's a little better. All right. So hopefully it is better.
Good.
So and George, you're a bit muffled. Point. I'm like, all right. So what can I do? I need.
We got a sound guy in the
Yeah.
chat here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. It is what it is. So you guys enjoy the way it is. Um, Calling is better now. Okay. Thank you, Betty.
Good.
So and how are things in Canada now? Is it a lockdown or you guys are mostly free to go out?
I would say it's like pretty hardcore lockdown compared to a
Oh,
lot of places. We have 8 p.m. curfew. So businesses close at like 7:30. You can get takeout from restaurants. You can't dine in. Recently, they reopened non-essential businesses. So there was a long period there where you could only buy like hardware from the hardware store, groceries, just like essential stuff. But then again, their definition of essential was a little wonky. So so yeah, it's starting to ease up now, but it's still pretty restrictive.
are the numbers are going down or?
No, they're pretty stable.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we're like 1,000 new cases every day in our city. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That seems a lot. LA seems to be better and better, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the place that's most comparable to what we're dealing with here in Canada in the bigger cities.
Wow. Okay. Well, hopefully, with the vaccine and everything, we're going to go back to normal and back to touring life. Are you going to continue touring after the
Yeah. Yeah.
after the birth?
Yeah,
You will?
I'll for sure take a couple months off after the baby's born, but once things stabilize a little bit, hopefully I can get back out there on the road.
And things stabilize when is it she or he?
It's a she.
Okay, so when she gets like 18.
That's a pretty long hiatus. I don't think I can make it that long.
All right. Okay, so let's do this. So I'm interested to hear first about your beginnings. How did you start being interested in music? How did you decide to be a musician?
Yeah, sure. So I was always interested in music. I liked music as a kid. When I got a little older, like I guess I was around 12, 13 years old. And I got one of those Fender Squire starter packs where you get everything in the box. You get the amp and the patch cord and the Squire P bass and everything. And I started with that. And I was huge into punk rock and metal and stuff like that. Like I liked Rancid, I liked Judas Priest, and then I got into Iron Maiden, and Steve Harris did like that gallop with the 3-finger gallop or 4-finger gallop, like in Run to the Hills and stuff. And then I was like getting more and more interested in like weird, different bass techniques and stuff like that. And so I just, I played in my room for a long, long time, and then I played in a bunch of punk bands when I was a kid. And then I started touring at 17 in one of those punk bands. And this is my cat. I started touring at 17, and like I would be allowed in the bar like 15 minutes, half an hour before a set, and then after the set I had to like wrap up my cables and get out of the bar again, and I would just like go sit in the van. And so I got a taste for the road there. And eventually that band broke up, and I was like, oh, I want to do something different. And right about that time, I got one of the Give 'Em the Boot compilation CDs from HeadCat. And on there, that's where I heard Tiger Army and Necromantics. And as soon as like I popped the CD in and I heard those songs, and I was like, what is this? What is this? And I hear like the tick of the slap and stuff like that, and I'm like listening. I was like, is that the drums? And I was like, no, it's following the bass. And then I started looking into it more, and I was like, holy shit, there's like this whole different thing out there. Like I'd seen rockabilly before, but this was different, and that just like lit a fire in me. And so I like sold off 2 or 3 electric basses, and I got this like student Hofner upright bass, and I started learning on that. And then I started playing in like more rockabilly bands, and then going on to psychobilly as I got better and better, and found musicians who wanted to do that too. And then here I am.
Wow. So you started on an electric bass, and then with punk, and then switched to basically upright because of rockabilly and psychobilly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like first time when you hear slap, you're immediately like everybody's like, "What is this?" It's
Yeah.
like the coolest sound ever.
It blew my mind. I was just like, holy shit, I want to do that so bad.
Yeah, you just have to do it. I mean, I remember when I heard, just Bill Black's bass on Elvis Sound Sessions and Lee Rocker and the Stray Cats. It's like, oh wow, this is so cool.
Oh yeah.
And can't, yeah, cannot compete with electric bass. Do you still play electric?
Occasionally, but like not really. Honestly, like I might pick it up like at most like once every 2 months,
Oh, okay.
just to
But
do
you
a
still
little
have
something. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I still have my basses and stuff like that. But I mean, the upright bass is so much more fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I never play electric. I mean, barely, but
Yeah.
I have one just in case.
Yeah.
Um, do you play any other instruments?
So like, I was in like band class. God damn it, my cat. I was in band class as a kid, and I played like the nerdiest instruments. I played like euphonium
Hmm.
and trombone and shit like that. I could play guitar a little bit, but I'm pretty shitty. I could play drums a little bit, but I'm pretty shitty. I just really, I love the bass. I put my focus on that.
Yeah, it's good to be focused. It's interesting. The music education works completely different here. I mean, I assume that in Canada is similar to U.S., right?
I would assume so. I mean, I've never been educated in the U.S., but I think it's probably pretty similar.
Do you have any formal education in music?
I mean, just through like band class and stuff like that. But eventually, there was in junior high school, there was like a jazz band that you could join, and they were looking for a bass player. And I played electric bass at that time, but I only knew how to read tabs. I couldn't read sheet music. I still can't. and and the teacher was like, "Well, I'm not going to like transcribe this to tablature for you. That's retarded." I was like, "Can you give me a mixtape?" And he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, just like make me a mixtape of the songs that we're playing." And so he acquiesced, and he gave me a mixtape, and I just like learned all the songs by ear, and then I played it that way. I'm sure I was a pain in the ass. I was like his least favorite, but he needed a bass player, and I was willing to do it. And we got to go to Colorado for a band trip. So
Oh, nice.
that was my enticement. You know, in junior high school, that was like going on tour for me. I was so excited.
So you played the jazz in that
Yeah,
school band, right?
yeah.
How do you like that?
I like it. I definitely like it. I've still, you know, I still enjoy it from time to time. But I didn't really keep up with it. You know, like I said, once I heard slapping, I was like, yeah, that's what I want.
Well, there's some jazz slapping too.
Yeah, well, yeah.
um, so yeah, I started talking about like so it's interesting how formal music education like function like completely different in Europe and here. There's over there the schools where I went are like more just like music schools structured for
Hmm.
musicians, and then you can go like to music elementary school. I mean, besides your regular elementary school, and then that
Hmm.
leads to conservatory. But here it seems that you have, I mean, in North America, I guess, you have those kind of mandatory band classes that seems that everyone plays something. I think that
Hmm.
like more people here play an instrument than in Europe, but like maybe on a higher level, it's probably more over there. I'm not sure, but it seems that kind of everyone played an instrument at some time here in Canada and US, right?
It's yeah, it seems that way. At least in the early years, like in elementary school, like where I grew up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, we didn't have those kind of super music performance arts focused like elementary schools. Here in Montreal, we do. So there are kids that are like 5 years old who just rip on piano or violin or whatever their instrument of specialty is, and my wife is a teacher. She actually teaches at one of those schools, and these kids are insanely talented. We have a few of those schools here in Montreal, but where I grew up, we didn't, and it was like that mandatory basic sort of music school where you or music class where you learn how to play like recorder, basic percussion stuff, maybe like a glockenspiel or a xylophone if you're lucky, and then that's kind of it for elementary school. And then into high school, that's where you get into like brass, woodwinds, real percussion, and some limited stringed instruments as
Do
well.
you do you think that that education helped you like understand music better and like help you being a better musician?
Yeah, absolutely, bar none. It for sure gave me a leg up because you understand like rhythm, melody, harmony. Uh, you know, you get these concepts sort of drilled into your mind at a young age, and then um, yeah, I think it's sort of it definitely like gave me a good foundation to build from.
No, I think that's really important. Like formal education really helped me like play even rockabilly and psychobilly. Um, all right, first band. I would like to hear about that. When did you start your first band, and what kind of music were you playing?
Like how far back do we want to go? Like first band? Okay, so that's a great question. Um, I think maybe my first like legit band where we ever like played a show was like this kind of shitty punk band called Food Flavored Paste. um, and we would play at like community centers and things like that. Just like all ages community center shows. And we did a few of those. And those were just like some friends from school. And I was playing electric bass, and it was a weird band. You know, the guitarist loved Nirvana, uh, the drummer loved Pantera, and then I liked, you know, like Rancid and Ramones and stuff like that. So it was kind of a mishmash of that. Um, but like it didn't last very long. It was like a year and a half or whatever, and then I was just sort of like jamming with a bunch of friends, just sort of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then one day, I got a call from this local punk band called the Brat Attack in Winnipeg, and they needed a bass player for a tour, like ASAP. so I just like buckled down and learned all the songs and went to a few practices, and then we hit the road. We did a cross Canadian tour, and that was awesome. I was hooked from there.
It's weird. Once you start like touring, you want to be on tour all the time.
Yeah, yeah, it's like
It's
it's
hard to go back to
intoxicating.
normal life.
Yeah, just playing a show every night is such a crazy feeling. Like there's nothing like it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you miss it? Do you miss touring?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's something special. So how many? When did you join the Brains?
So that was in 2008, late 2008, early 2009, I believe. Um, at the time, I was living in Jasper, Alberta, in the Canadian Rockies. It's a beautiful little mountain town, and I had sort of a rockabilly psychobilly band called Sam Haight and the Jackals, and God damn it, and we had. Sorry, let me get rid of this cat. We had gotten an offer to play in Edmonton, opening for the Brains, and we had like a really good time, good show, and everything. And I got to meet, Renee and the rest of the band. At the end of the night, we were all pretty hammered. The bar was shut down, and we're packing up our stuff. And Renee just casually said to me, "He's like, if anything ever happens, I might just give you a call." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't know. You're a pretty good bass player. I might give you a call." I was like, "Okay, all right." I thought nothing of it. I was like, "Okay, fat chance." He lives in Montreal. I live on the other side of the country in Alberta. We'll see. And then sure enough, he did call me, and he said, "Hey, we have these shows coming up, and we absolutely want to have you in the band, and the issue is like if we're gonna do this, you need to leave today." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, I'll call you back in like half an hour, and we'll talk about the details." So half an hour later, he called me back. It was like a conference call. There was him and one of the guys from the Brains record label at the time, and they laid it out for me, and everything seemed legit. And I was like, okay. So I packed up my my Galen Kruger 810 and my 1001 RB and my bass and a suitcase. I threw it all in the back of my van, and I drove like 3 days nonstop across the country, and showed up in Montreal just like haggard and bedraggled. And Renee immediately took me out to the bars to introduce me to everyone. And then the next day we started working on learning the songs and everything. I think 2 days later we were in the studio doing a bit of recording. And then 2 days after that, we went on the road and did 2 shows in Ontario. And we went back to Montreal, had another meeting with the label. And then I went back to Jasper to start like packing up and getting ready to change my life and move to Montreal and join the band.
All right, I would like to hear more about that, and then that seems like an interesting story.
Yeah.
Definitely, and a long story. I want to be next focus to be on the Brains, but before that, I would like to hear you play. Can you slap a little?
Yeah, sure. I gotta take a pee first. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, I'll be right back, and then we'll get to the slap.
Sure. All right, while we're waiting for this bathroom break, this came super fast. Usually these bathroom breaks are after 2 or 3 hours or something. And there's like quite a few comments. District 66, cheers from Spain, cheers from Slapsville. Torpeda, hello from Vienna. I know Torpeda very well. Hello, Vienna. We're missing some good racking. Hopefully this COVID is over soon. I hope that too. What else? Jose Arana, wouldn't the nerdiest instrument be like the pickle or something? I don't think there are nerdy instruments. You can rip anything really. Just make it your own. And Caroline, happy Slapper Day. So excited for interview with Colin. I'm excited too while he's getting ready. I would like to remind all of you to slap that subscribe button and like the video, share it. It's happening right now. I'm sure there are like other psychobilly folks and bass players that would like to hear and see this. So make sure to share that on your social media. And
All right.
Colin is about ready. So let's do this. All right, what you gonna play?
All right. So let's see here. I think maybe the first song I'm gonna play is "Misery" by The Brains.
Is there an option for you to lift the camera a little bit so we can
Yeah,
see?
actually, I'm gonna step back here. I'm just choking up on the mic to
Oh,
talk to you, but yeah, I'll step back and you'll see all of me here. You can hear that?
yeah.
All right. All right. I had a little fuck up there in the middle. I got my my in-ear cable stuck in my armpit.
Karen wrote, playing makes Colin a happy man.
Oh, no doubt. That's why I do it.
District 66, give it a slap.
Yeah.
Corner, wash hands, wash hands.
Wash hands, wash hands.
Yeah. And MC, I believe this is like for your talking microphone. It says,
Oh, yeah?
like,
There we go.
a bit higher, but okay. So there you go.
There we go.
Awesome. And what are these sweet sounds coming from my speakers?
That's
From
the slap, baby.
And Colin playing makes Carolyn a happy gal. All right. Cool. So there was a Brain song from which album is that?
Yeah, so Misery is off our album The Monster Within. And that was my, let's see here, my third album with the Brains.
And okay, so finally, Colin's mic levels are good now. All right.
Yay!
Should have been an applause.
Thanks, Chuck.
Uh, and we have like more and more people joining. Cheers from
Worldwide Calling Crew, Germany, baby. Yeah.
and greetings from Schnitzel Boys and the Crypt Keepers with Creepers. The bass walk, he's mic up.
There you
Give me
go.
what I need. All right. So more and more comments. Please
Oh,
keep them
great.
up.
Yeah.
If you have a comment that you would like to stay, make sure to write it in under the video, so those will be able to check and answer even later. So if you're watching this slap stream, not live, do that, and we'll get to your question at some point. So is there anything before the Brains that we should also cover? Any bands or any cool things that were happening in your career?
I mean,
we mentioned a couple bands, but
yeah. I mean, when I was 17 and 18 in that punk band, that was like, in my eyes, that was a lot of success. We were doing the whole like, going to the Universal Records parties and the video shoots and the interviews and stuff. And for a 17-year-old,
which band was that?
Pardon me?
Which band was that?
The Brat Attack.
Okay.
Canadian punk band. We were like the Canadian Anti-Flag kind of a thing. But very pop punk. And at 17 doing all that stuff was pretty crazy for me. We got to do some really cool shows and play some festivals and stuff like that. And to be on the big stage at that age was really like that. I was hooked. That's a drug that they have yet to synthesize. There's nothing like that feeling. So being put on this tour and having a record deal at 17 was something that was like crazy to me, and that blew my mind. But when that fizzled out, it was like, okay, like I've sort of felt like been there, done that. I was kind of over playing that style of music, and I really wanted to dedicate myself to upright bass and slapping and playing rockabilly or psychobilly or whatever. And so then, like I said, when I moved to Jasper, we played. I had a band called Sam Hate and the Jackals, and then that's where we started getting the gigs opening for psychobilly bands like the Brains and the Gutter Demons from Canada. We also got to open for the Guana Bats at one point, and that was huge for me. These guys were all my idols. Like Necromantic Guana Bats, Frenzy, Frantic Flintstones, Mad Sin. All these bands were like amazing to me, and to have like a European psychobilly band like the Guana Bats come to Edmonton, it was insane. Blew my fucking mind. So that that was being in those bands definitely gave me an education in music and touring and a little bit about the music business and stuff like that. But it wasn't until that I joined the Brains. That's when things got serious, and it was back-to-back tours, back-to-back albums, putting out an album every year, touring all the time in between that. When I first joined the band, it was crazy. We were on the road 9 months out of the year, and then recording another 2 months out of the year, and we were just busy all the time. And that was awesome. It is and was what I wanted to do. And to be able to sustain yourself from music, although at like an insane workload and pace and everything, to be able to sustain yourself with that was a dream come true. and there's nothing like it. You know.
Definitely. So you joined the Brains in 2009. That's what you said.
Yeah.
And Brains been around for a few years before.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think they were around. Oh, Renee's gonna kill me for not remembering this. They were around like a while. They put out at least 2 albums before I joined the band, and had done a lot of touring around Canada and some in Europe and some in the States as well. But I think when I joined the band, that's when it really got kicked into overdrive. We did Zombie Nation was my first album with them, and after that it was nuts. We were just touring all the time. We're doing 2 tours a year in Europe, and then 1 or 2 American tours and 1 or 2 Canadian tours a year. Just like always on the road, like Coffin Cat style, just like tour till you're dead.
The only way to do it, huh?
Yeah, well, it's fun. It's good work if you can get it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to have music as your, job, and as you said, like to sustain just from playing music is an amazing feeling. Um, so so tell me about I mean, these last 12 years with the Brains. What are the highlights of the band? How many albums have you played on? And I'm sure you have like a bunch of cool stories.
Yeah, definitely have a few stories from along the way. So I've done 5 full-length albums with them now, and then a couple EPs thrown in there as well. We did one. It was a bunch of cover songs called The Cover Up. A lot of like 80s bangers on that one. Um, and I mean some of the highlights are we did our like first and only nightliner tour in Europe, and that was a pretty crazy story and tour right there. So it was called the Psychobilly Invasion Tour, and it was the Reverend Horton Heat, us, the Phantom Rockers, and the Silver Shine. And we were split up on like 2 double-decker buses. They were crazy. They had like 21 bunks up top and a lounge, and then kitchenette and like living area on the main floor of the bus. And that was insane to me. That was always my dream, to do like the tour bus tour. And we played a lot of like really great big venues, and playing with the Reverend Horton Heat was always a dream. I've always loved those guys. Like, 1, they're super talented. 2, their songs are fantastic, and 3, they're just like the best guys. So it was a dream come true and a real pleasure to do that. And it was all organized by this fella named I believe his name was Marcus. And one day we woke up in a parking lot. It was weird because we woke up and we weren't like driving, and the bus was parked, and we're like, oh, okay, we must already be at the venue. And we woke up because there was like a bunch of noise and like clattering downstairs, and so we got up and we like looked downstairs, and there's a guy, and he's like, okay, everybody off the bus. Tour's over. Time to stop the fun. Everybody get out of the bus. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? And it immediately became apparent that the tour manager, the guy who organized the whole thing, had like fucked off in the middle of the night. He told the bus to stop at like a train station, and he took like all the money and got on a train and just fucked off. And so the bus company was like, well, these buses aren't paid for, so fun's over, boys. And we're like, what? They're like, yeah, he's gone. Like, your money's gone. The buses aren't paid for. It's over. So everyone's freaking out. Everyone is absolutely fucking livid, and like, we don't know what to do. So in the end, like, you know, we talked to our label, the Reverend Horton, he talked to his, and we sort of figured it out, and we were able to keep the tour going by like consolidating to one bus. And unfortunately the Silver Shine dropped off for whatever reason, and so now we're all on one bus, and I'm sure it was like a real drag for the Rev and those guys, but for us it was like, fuck yeah, we get to hang out with those guys every day all day. And you know, we worked it out, we kept the tour going, we finished the tour, and you know, despite that hiccup, it's still one of the best experiences of my life, you know, like just like being parked in front of the venue and having like Valet from Mad Sin jump on the bus to have a beer with you after the set. I was like, this is fucking cool. I love this shit.
It's it seems like a cool story. Well, that's I mean, and weird story. I mean, I'm glad you were able to finish the tour. Those are like a nightmare tour stories. Wow.
Yeah. Like in the moment it's a nightmare, but like looking back it's like, well, it's a good story, and it was a real experience, and we made the most of it, and we finished the tour. So
How long was the tour?
I think it was about a month and a half, kind of a thing. It was really great. We went all over Europe with that one, you know, everything from like Spain to like the Netherlands and shit like this. So it was really great.
And who are the some other bands, like, or your favorite bands that you played with on as an opening or as a headliner?
Sure. So definitely, you know, opening for the Necromantics on tour. We toured with them a bunch. We've toured a bunch with the Rev. Opening for you guys in Germany was pretty fucking dope. Yeah, that was definitely a highlight. That was a really cool show. I had a lot of fun. And then
We did like a few shows, right? Like I think 3 shows together.
yeah, I think we did. I know we did 2. We might have done 3.
Okay.
There
I
might have
remember
been.
it was Munich.
Yeah.
For sure, and then
Maybe Hamburg.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
You know, I love touring Germany. It's you know, it's kind of different than any other country in Europe, for me at least. I don't know. There's something.
I think so too. It's got its own sort of special spice to it, you know.
They always give you like that mandatory food thing that they do, like in the German way. I don't know. And there's always ginger and lemon, which I think I'd seen only in Germany as like for every band.
Everywhere, always ginger and lemon.
It's interesting. I always like when I go to a new country, like to kind of like to do it the way that country does it. So it's well, it's interesting. Yeah, Germany is always I always like it. Everything is kind of structured very well, organized. I dig it. Yeah. I love when it's not structured. I love touring South America too, but it's I don't know. I just love touring everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the nice thing about touring everywhere is a little bit different, and you get to experience all these different cool things. I find that in Germany you have a lot of like really good sound guys.
Oh yeah, sounds like, pretty good in Germany.
Yeah, I think like consistently there's a ton of really good sound guys in Germany.
They know what they're doing. Yeah. Chuck Garner wrote, "Colin, I found your video on the Shadow Rockabilly preamp very helpful. The awesome. Cheat codes." And Richard Tralles, hello Richard, you're here all the time. Thank you. Enjoying the show as usual. These weekly slap streams have really improved my playing. That's why I'm doing them, and to entertain you during these COVID times. And another Canadian, Scruff7878, cheers from Ottawa, Canada. So more and more Canadians. Thank
That's
you.
good.
How's the psychobilly and rockabilly scene in Canada?
It's actually pretty good, man. We kind of have bands all across the country. I would say for sure that Montreal is the hotspot for psychobilly. You know, we have my two bands, the Brains and the Hypnophonics. We have the Gutter Demons, another like really well-established psychobilly band. They tour all over the world. We have Lab Rats. We have a ton of rockabilly bands here. What else? I'm sorry if I'm forgetting anybody. It's not my intention. I'm just kind of tired. But yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot going on here. We have a lot of venues. You know, there's a lot of places where you can actually get your hands on a bass. We have a good network of luthiers here to work on your basses when you inevitably break them, and I think it's definitely the hotspot for rockabilly, psychobilly music in Canada. But then, you know, there's a bunch of bands in Toronto as well. My hometown of Winnipeg, there's a bunch. You know, I grew up listening to this band called the Farrell Brothers, and I think they were really one of the things that gave me the kick in the pants to like actually get a double bass and try it for myself, because I could see him live doing it. Not a lot of like rockabilly or psychobilly bands came through Winnipeg. I think I saw, you know, that local band, the Farrell Brothers, and then one time I saw Lee Rocker come through and play at like some country bar doing his thing, which was awesome too. But you know, I was like always in the front row, just kind of like staring. I was like, what is his hand doing? How's he doing this? Trying to figure it out. You know, Vancouver's got a bunch of great bands. It's you know, we're kind of a sparsely populated country with a lot of space in between, but all these sort of cultural hubs, we've got rockabilly and psychobilly around, so it's pretty good, man.
You know, one of my favorite guitar players, Paul Pigat, lives in Canada. I'm doing a project with him right now, um, and Rene is actually producing that. So
Yes.
yeah,
When can we expect to see that project come out?
I think soon. You know, I'm kind of like putting like a finishing touches, but it's been crazy. You know, my life's been all over the place last I mean last forever, but
Yeah.
like last year especially, it's just yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, but I believe soon. So, and I'm really excited about it because I've been doing solo stuff for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
but I did not put too much stuff out there as a solo. I kind of prefer to be a team player. That was
Yeah.
always my thing. I guess just choosing to be bass player, you choose like to be a team player, kind of like to support the whole system.
Yeah.
But I feel fairly comfortable being a band leader and leading a band, and I had like a decent success with a kind of jazz world music project that I did a few years ago in Europe, and but I want to be focused on this style, you know, since this is, you know, rockabilly and psychobilly. That's the reason why I started playing music, and then I want to do that as well. But you know, it always has to be a mix with me. I can't. I don't want. I can't be doing just one style. I go crazy. I want to play Turkish classical music, and then I want to play New Orleans jazz, and I want to play, you know, Ethiopian funk, and I want to play rockabilly, and I want to play bluegrass. I want to play baroque, you know, with cymbalum, and then, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's one life. I want to do it do everything.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a few more comments about
Sure.
Germany. Radback Lounge, thanks for being back. We are only German, but Munich is Bavaria, my country. All right.
The never-ending dispute between Bavaria and the rest of Germany.
Oh, yeah. Monster Hunters for Life. Thank you, Colin, for helping me to find the right equipment for my bass and my amp recommendation, the Gellenkruger 800.
Yes, I'm glad you enjoy it.
And District. We're gonna get like to your gear towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
I'd like people to know what you're doing and all these companies to know that you're promoting them so they can send you more free stuff.
Yes, please.
Uh, District 66. I have sent you some photos on Messenger. The Brains in Madrid. Okay.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
So I'm not sure if that's to me or to you, but we're
Well, I'll check my messages after this.
um, cool. All right, so there's more and more people joining. All right, I guess I should have like more psychobilly. I don't know what's like. All right, so this is the question for all the viewers. Every time I do psychobilly, there's like more people than if I do something else that I think is like at least equally creative. And I wonder if it's these like bass players that are watching, or I just have like a regular psychobilly people that are interested to hear psychobilly stories regardless of the instrument. So please answer that, people.
Yeah.
And pay attention to other guests as well. So not just just like really some creative people out there. Have you seen the last episode that I did with that one guy?
No.
Oh,
Who's that one guy?
yeah, it's just like he goes by the that's his stage name. His name is Mike, but his stage name is that one guy. So
Okay.
he created he built his own instrument, bass, kind of bass. He calls it the magic pipe. It's two pipes from Home Depot with one string each,
Okay.
and then he slaps them all the time, and really cool and interesting.
I
Check it
gotta
out.
check it out. That sounds awesome.
It's but he's creating music. It's not just like some crazy project.
Mm-hmm.
He has like a good songs. He has like music videos and stuff, and he performs by himself. I have huge respect for people that perform by themselves. It's really hard, like to keep. Um, I mean, focus to be focused and then to make it interesting for an hour or 2 hours.
Yeah, by yourself, entertaining
Crazy,
a bunch of
yeah.
people. Like everything's on your shoulders. You have to really be like a dynamic performer and a real like solid musician.
Have you ever done that?
No. Like
Yeah.
me, the center of attention all by myself.
Yeah.
Like the closest I've come to that is like YouTube videos or something like that. But yeah, like you say, I'm more of a team player. I like playing with a band. I like playing to drums and loud guitar. Like that really like I don't know, like playing alone is great, but there's just something about playing in a band that's what does it for me. That's what really juices me up and really ignites my creativity, and I can, especially with a good drummer, I can really start, stepping out of the box and getting weird with syncopation with them and mixing it up and yeah, I just love playing with a band.
There's that pocket, baby. There's nothing better than that connection between drums and bass.
Yeah.
You create the groove.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to ask you something, but there's like now like a bunch of questions for and messages, so I want to check out that. Like Carolyn, I like the variety and the fascinating connections among all the styles. Well, I'm glad you're pretty much here every week, so good to see you, Carolyn. Hello from Los Angeles. When can we expect the Tiger Army and the Brains show in Los Angeles? Well, I don't know. When someone books us, I guess. We did shows together only in Europe, right?
Only in Europe. Yeah.
We might have to fly to Europe though. It's not that bad over there.
No, it's a good trip.
And Redback Lounge. I think your booker for Germany was Lonesome.
Not us, no.
Okay.
No, we booked through MAD.
No, I think that he probably meant the Nightmare tour.
Oh, no, that was not Matt Lonesome. No, definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not. No, he's a good guy. He would never do that to anybody.
Okay. I don't know.
No.
But listen, Tums, I enjoy all the different players you have, but Psycho is my music of choice, so I enjoy that more. All right, and do play. Okay, Steve McNeil. Anything to do with psychobilly music and learning? All I can personally is what it's about. Plus, you always have different style of musicians. So here, thank you, Tiger Army Never Die. All right, some Tiger Army fans here.
That's
So
great.
was Tiger Army? You mentioned Tiger Army was an influence as well. So that was with Jeff Kresge on bass or Rafredo?
Yeah. So the first time I heard Tiger Army was with Jeff, and
Which one?
pardon me,
Rafredo or Kresge?
with Kresge.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. And yeah, so I think it was like Power of Moonlight was the first track that got me, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, this is fucking cool. It's like kind of spooky, and you know, Nick is so talented. You know, his voice is just incredible, and I love his guitar tone and everything. So that was you know, that was big for me. You know, early on for sure, it was Tiger Army, Necromantics, Mad Sin. Those are my big three. And then, you know, I started learning more about it and getting into all the other bands, all the other European bands, and then the Quakes, of course, the American Psychobillies, and yeah. So definitely the big three were Tiger Army, Necromantics, Mad Sin.
You know, I always loved the Quakes. Quakes were always, you know, probably my favorite psychobilly band. I love them, and I still do. You know, there's something about their songs that's so unique and great.
I
Uh,
love it.
so did you ever get like into like a neo rockabilly and traditional rockabilly?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like I love it. You know, when um, I grew up in a household, like my dad was like, there are two kinds of music, country and Western. and and I was like, okay. But then, you know, my mom, like in the car, she would have like a Dire Straits cassette. So there was that. But um I think it was my grandpa. He would listen to like AM radio. And I hung out with my grandparents a lot because my parents were both cops, and they worked like crazy shifts and stuff. So a lot of the time I'd stay at my grandparents' place, and my grandpa always had the AM radio on, and there was like this cool like old like rockabilly station kind of a thing that we heard, and you know, Johnny Burnett was my favorite when I was a kid. Um, and I think that's also one of the bands where like the slapping bass is a little bit more pronounced in the mix. So that was big for me. When I first started learning upright bass, the songs that I first learned were Johnny Cash songs, because they weren't like insanely complicated and not like a breakneck speed, so I could sort of get my head around how to do like the kind of thing. That was really big for me. So yeah, I really, yeah, definitely early on I was playing like rockabilly and country a lot. Yeah, Dire Straits does kick ass, Steve. And so yeah, it definitely was a big part of like learning and my influences early on.
Which bands would you say like from that '80s neo rockabilly era and bass players were an influence on you?
Steve Whitehouse was probably one of the biggest ones. I I really love his playing style. Clockwork Toy was like a mind blower for me. When I first heard that, I was just like, oh shit, this is fucking cool. And I saw the music video on YouTube, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely cool. I love it. um, let's see what else from the '80s. Yeah, yeah. Sharks and Frenzy were really big ones.
I'm thinking
Um,
more like a neo rockabilly, like a Stray Cats type of thing, like you know, like Polecats, Rockettes, and all those people.
yeah,
Early
yeah.
'80s.
So I mean, Stray Cats for sure were huge. I think that's sort of a prerequisite for everybody. Like it almost goes without saying. Like you know, like a bunch of Stray Cat songs because that's, you know, you learn them, you play along to the records and stuff like that. It's good music. I don't know. I'm kind of blanking on what else. You know, definitely Polecats. The Blue Cats, really great. A lot of cats
Yeah,
out
Blue
there.
Cats were awesome. Blue Cats, like I mean, they still do. They have Steve Whitehouse on bass now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Another Steve Whitehouse banger. Yeah, like Man on a Mission. Like that's such a crazy song. Billy Ruffians, another crazy song by them.
Men on a Mission. That's on the Tunnel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's an excellent album. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite neo rockabilly albums of all time. I would say
Mm-hmm.
it's really good songs, good
Really
voice,
good.
yeah, good playing, really cool. Um, so as far as the influences as far as bass players, besides Steve Whitehouse, and who else did you mention? Yeah, you mentioned, I guess, Bob Moore from Johnny Burnett's band. Any other name that you would?
Well, for sure, Kim, definitely. You know, just listening to their records and then touring with him, I learned a lot. You know, Valet from Mad Sin is huge for me. I really love his playing. And then the bassist before him in Mad Sin as well. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Horst.
I mean, it's Holly,
Holly, but that was like his stage name, I think. I don't think that was his real name, but we'll stick with Holly for all intensive purposes. Holly was a huge influence on me. I still play 2, 3, 4 all the time. It's like one of my favorite things to warm up with. It's like, do you mind if I slap it out really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I love this riff so much.
I never mind slapping.
Yeah, you can never have too much, right? Hold on.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But when you say 2, 3, 4, what do you mean by that?
So 2, 3, 4 is the name of the song.
Okay,
yes, it's not like the musical structure or slap pattern or anything like this.
Okay, so that's what I was waiting for. I'm like, okay.
Like that I just love that riff so much.
It's cool. So since you have bass in your hands, like, come on, let's play another one.
Okay, cool. So
lift your camera a little bit as well, so we can see your face.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll be backing up again.
Okay.
So I think I'll do Drunk Not Dead. Another Brain song. There we go. have it. Drunk Not Dead.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me see. Okay.
There we go.
This looks nice. Okay. Comments
for Colin.
I'm gonna be drunk, not dead.
Yeah, good. Don't die. It's bad.
I absolutely love the bass in Drunk. And okay. I think we gotta be. Okay, the Brains music is always mixed well, especially the bass. It's great turned up in the car and home loud volume.
Right on. That's all thanks to Mr. Rene De La Muerte.
Rene, and Rene is available for engineering and production, right?
Yes, you can hire him and make your sound as good as ours.
Yeah. All right, so you got lots of hands here. Brains' third album is in my car rotation.
Fantastic.
Ah, okay, I got it now. So hopefully this is applause and not wash your hands. I guess he wrote as I expected this. Okay, got it. I was not sure what that meant. King or Blaskout with innovation strengths is the best.
Personally, I agree.
Okay, so I'm gonna get to your gear a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Who writes all the songs for the Brains?
So it's a team effort for sure.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So you write songs. What is the process of writing, and what is the process of writing bass lines as well?
Sure. So basically what'll happen is like 9 times out of 10, Rene will come to us with a guitar riff and sort of there we go. Guitar riff and an idea for the song. And then we just sort of start building from there. I write a lot of the lyrics. I started off, I wrote a few lyrics for some of the songs, and then as I progressed with the band, I did more and more. I think Out in the Dark, I did like almost all the lyrics on that one. And then for this past one, Satana Tarantula, I wrote some of the lyrics, and our drummer Guillaume wrote some of the lyrics as well, and then Rene wrote some of the lyrics as well on that one. But generally, Rene is doing like the composing and arrangements mostly, and then I'll just write my bass line to whatever guitar riff he comes up with, and I can just pretty much do whatever I want. When we're in the studio, he knows how to like get the best out of me. He can really like fire me up, and I'll be like in the booth just like fucking screaming like, I know I can do it. Give me another fucking check. I'm gonna get it right now. He'll really like juice me up, because he knows that like when I'm really juiced up like that, that's when you get like the really crazy takes out of me. So he's good at that. But yeah, I mean, basically that's it. The drummer sort of comes up with some ideas, and then Rene will be like, oh, I would like you to try this beat, or go to the floor tom here, or do something like that. He's got a real eye for or ear, I guess, for producing the songs and arrangements and stuff like that.
He definitely does. I'm so happy with the work that he did on my record.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Amazing. He's really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So is he the one that it's doing everything sound wise?
Yeah. Yeah.
On the recordings? Okay.
He's recording it, he's mixing it, he's mastering it. I think on one of the albums, we sent it to be mastered by somebody else, and we got it back, and I think Rene was just like, no, fuck this, I can do it better than that. And he fucking redid it. We just like threw a bunch of money out the window, but whatever.
Yeah, I have like lots of, compliments of his work. I mean, such amazing guy. I'm really glad we did that tour with Tiger Army, so I met, both of you.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't hung out with your drummer much though, but it was
No.
most
Unfortunately, we've had kind of a revolving door of drummers since the original drummer, Frank.
okay. So there's like lots of lineup changes as far as drummers go.
As far as drummers, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's see.
I gotta pee again. I'm sorry, I drank a shitload of coffee.
All right. So I'll read the comments that are not
Thanks.
related to
I'll be
you.
right back.
Uh, let's see. Oh, Miko. By the way, Georgia, if you want a cool lady slapper as a guest, invite Linda from Relax Trio, nice young Finnish rockabilly trio. Please, all the guest suggestions write down under the video because those are the ones that I can actually check out. And you can also send an email to contact@artofslapbase.com. I love having lady slappers as guests. We had Patricia from Horror Pops, had Missy Raines, had amazing bluegrass player and jazz player. We had Laura Palmer from Screaming Rebel Angels. Am I missing out on someone? But please send me the links and send me the suggestions either in the description of the video or by email or both. That works too. All right, so oops, Colin is back. So
Yes,
let me read the comments that are related to his playing. Play We Are the Brains next, please.
perhaps.
Uh, Redback Lounge, Colin is relaxed slapper. Yeah, it's all about that wrist, baby.
Yeah, yeah. You got to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I play with Peter and the Wolves from Calgary, Alberta, and I just love your slap style, Colin. So inspiring.
Oh, thanks, Smoke Addict. You guys are great. I actually watched one of your videos yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was like a live performance somewhere. I don't know where, but it sounded great. Good work, guys.
it's amazing. I also love touring Canada, and then you mentioned Edmonton, I believe.
Yeah,
Every time I play Edmonton, it's an amazing show.
always awesome.
There's
Edmonton
something
has a
about it.
great scene. Yeah.
It's like quite a few cities in Canada, where I toured, not just with Tiger Army, but mostly with Tiger Army. We had like amazing shows,
Yeah.
and I love going back. Woody All Star, howdy, folks. A bit late today. We're glad you're here. Don't be late next time. Chuck Gardner. I seem to like every project that Renee is involved with. Well, hopefully you're gonna like mine too. Um, Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 stuck in my head.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh, oh, Cloudberry, mentioning her again. Georgia, you could invite Juna Sarita. She plays funk slap style. Please write it in the description, under the video, so I can check it out. These live comments are like I'm trying to get to all of them during the show, but it's really hard, like to remember. Please do that or send an email. Colin, would you consider teaching slap bass to willing students?
To which students?
Oh, I guess willing students.
Willing students. Okay. I- I've tried giving lessons before, but I think maybe my students weren't as willing as I would like them to be. Uh, like I don't know. I suppose I would. Um, I could be cajoled into doing some lessons over Zoom or Skype or something like that. Yeah, I've toyed with the idea. Am I doing it now? No. But is it a possibility? Sure.
I love teaching. I love having regular students, which is kind of hard when you have a crazy touring schedule. But it's just something special about passing on the knowledge and then the skill that somebody else can use and build their own style.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you should do it.
Yeah.
So what
All
is the
right.
best way for people to reach you if they are interested in taking lessons from you?
Yeah, you can definitely hit me up in my DMs on Instagram. That's at Colin the Dead on Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook, Colin Irvine. You can see the spelling below the video here, I'm sure, somewhere. And then again, when he pops up his little bass icons at the bottom. But yeah, follow. There we go. So you can hit me up on Facebook as well. Send me a message, and I will try to get back to you in a reasonable amount of time. But as I said, I am having a baby soon, so I'm pretty busy getting ready for that.
So it's really important, like that you slap from her first day, so she gets used to that
Oh yeah, she's gonna be born and bred slapper for sure.
sound. Okay, what do you think about Joe B. Molden, bass player from the Crickets?
I am not familiar with their work. I'm sorry to say.
That's Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Oh, oh, okay, buddy. Yeah, okay. Then yes, I am familiar with their. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Really good.
Um, okay, how do you feel about D standard tuning with Psycho?
I like the sound of it. I don't really fuck with it. I like standard tuning EADG. Um, that's just like all the bands I've played with. We've played in standard tuning, so I don't ever do dropping to D at all. But I'm a fan of it, and playing songs that were written in D on standard tuning is interesting too. So yeah, I don't know. I support it. I don't do it, but if you want to
So,
have
so for
fun.
people that are not familiar with that, what is the D standard tuning with Psycho?
With Psycho, I think Mad Sin do a lot, like almost all their stuff in D standard tuning.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
everything is just dropped down to D.
so everything is whole step down or just E string?
I think it's a whole step down, if
The
I'm not
whole.
mistaken. I could be mistaken though, but I
Okay.
think they do tune down a whole step.
I should just invite Vale and Holly like to the slap stream.
I know you should. They're fantastic.
Yeah. Miko, Colin, how about playing Oh Murder? I know you love it a
Oh,
lot.
this guy's a son of a bitch. He watches my YouTube channel for sure. So, I set a goal because people like to harass me about playing O Murder all the time, and right now I'm too rusty to play it. It is like it's insanely fast, and like in the last 2-3 weeks I have not been playing enough to play that song, but as previously stated, once I get to a certain amount of subscribers on my YouTube channel, then I will do it. I will do a
What's
video.
that number?
That number, the magic number, is 1,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. So if
Oh,
each and every one of you watching this subscribe to my channel, well,
the link is in the description of the video.
yes, then you can force my hand, and I will acquiesce to your wishes.
So are you becoming a YouTuber?
I don't know. I'm toying with the idea. Right now it's a hobby. Um, I'm
But once you reach 1,000 subscribers,
then I think I'll be beholden to it, and I'll have to be an on again off again YouTuber. But I do really enjoy it. I've got a few playthrough videos on my channel where I play some brain songs. I did a collaboration with a UK band called Red Hot Riot. Young, super talented guys. We played with them on our last tour through the UK, and we teamed up to do a cover of Gargoyles Over Copenhagen by Necromantics. And then I also have some sort of like gear videos on my channel as well. Like what all do I take on tour with me? What I explain sort of how the Shadow preamp works.
so that was the reference to that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, got it.
yeah. Because I get a lot of messages about my equipment, how it works, and stuff like that. And guys who are new, and they've got a box with a pickup in it in one hand and their bass in the other hand, and they're like, how do I how do I do this? Make sound go now, please. So it's I like doing that kind of stuff. I'm a bit of a gear nerd.
Oh,
It was
yeah, I'm
for
the
sure.
opposite.
What?
I'm the opposite.
No, you're like keep it simple and don't
Yeah,
fuck with gear.
no, I mean, I like to experiment with different sounds and stuff, but I do not have, once I find what I like,
Yeah.
I just do that, and then that's it. Once I started actually playing Orange, I haven't played anything else, and then I love it, and it's there. So,
Perfect.
have you ever tried any Orange gear?
I have. I have. But I've never gotten to play through an Orange amp and cabinet with my own bass. Um, so I don't know. Like when you play it, it sounds good. But when I played through the Orange, I did not like the sound of it, to be perfectly honest. But that could be a lot of things, you know. Maybe if I had some time with it and I could really fiddle with the knobs and everything, and then I could get it there. But when I experienced it, I was not a fan. I really like Galen Kruger stuff, and Mesa is another one that I love right now.
Galen Kruger seems to be kind of the psychobilly choice.
Yeah, it's like the bread and
For
butter for psychobilly for sure. I think.
who started that? Who was the first guy that made it?
I think Kim for sure is one of the loudest and most prominent supporters of GK. I don't think he even plays Galen Kruger anymore. But early on, he was like, he was kind of the go-to guy, and he's very active in like the Facebook groups and stuff like that. Always offering advice and telling people like how shit works, or if they have a problem, he can explain it. And he's a very valuable source of information. That Kim.
Cool.
Yeah. So I
I
think
interviewed him a few months ago, and then that was the longest slap stream at the time, 4 hours.
Yeah, I don't think I'll beat any records for longest slap stream, but maybe most pee breaks.
Well, so far I think they're leading, though.
Leading?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, get ready. I'm going to take this thing over the top, baby.
All right. You started talking a little bit about how you create your bass lines when Renee brings songs. Can you talk a little bit more about it?
Sure.
I'm interested in the whole process.
Yeah, the whole process. So basically, either I will, be in the room with Renee and I'll just be like, oh, play that chorus again or play that verse again, and I'll try a bunch of different things. Sometimes it'll just be like just play the chorus over and over and over in a loop, and I'll just sort of fiddle around and see what feels good and play with different different rhythms and different scales and stuff like this, and just sort of fart around, and then something will click, and I'll be like, oh, I like that, and then I'll sort of build from there. Other times, especially now, and during the making of the previous album, Satanatur and Trula, you would, because he was, not even in the same country, I would get tracks, and then I would just play those in headphones and just loop them and just keep playing and playing and playing and playing, and sort of figure out what I wanted to do from there. Like, how far can I take this while still sort of staying true to the song, and not being too much of a dickhead and making it about me or whatever. So yeah, that's basically it. For me, I don't want to necessarily say trial and error, but I do like to just play through it over and over and over again until I find something that like really clicks with me, something that I really like. Messing around with the drummer too, that's a big thing. Like working the rhythm section together and making sure that everything is like a nice solid package and well put together, and that's kind of how I do it.
It seems that that kind of works for a lot of people. You're just playing over and over instead of composing something.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not gonna like write it out or
okay,
whatever.
but do you usually play the same bass lines to certain songs, or you improvise?
Um, so in the beginning of a tour, I'll play the same. Towards the end of a tour, I start getting wild. I'll just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna like take this for a long walk and really have fun with it and doodle around. But I think like mid to late tour is where my chops are like perfectly honed, and I know the songs inside and out because I've been doing it every night, and then that's when I get a little fancy with it and start doing some wild stuff.
It's interesting. I think that not exclusively, but I'm almost doing kind of the opposite way. I kind of, in the beginning stages, I improvise more till I find something that it kind of I like the most, and then I
Mm-hmm.
kind of stick to it. I mean, occasionally, change it and everything, but um, seems that's the process that kind of works for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's interesting you mentioned that. That got me thinking a little bit. But yeah, so but do you usually record an album and then tour the album, or you usually uh, play the songs a bunch and then you go into the studio and record?
Mm-hmm. So I think uh, the last two albums, there were probably two or three songs that we would play on tour before the album was recorded.
Mhm.
Um, the Witch was one of those that comes to mind. But usually we would just write the whole thing and record it in the studio, like in the practice studio and then the recording studio, and and then we would tour it after that. So it's they have their pros and cons. Like if you if you have the chance to tour these songs, then sort of already how to get the most out of those songs when it's time to go to the studio. And there's for sure a lot of merit in that. You can really suss out the songs and see what you like, see how you can improve. And then same thing with the other guys in the band. I'm sure the guitar changed and morphed as we toured those songs. But if you do it the other way around, it's kind of set in stone. Luckily, with Renee being the recording engineer for all this stuff, we're not on such a restrictive budget like a lot of bands going into the tour, or not into a tour, into the studio, where it's like we have this much money, we have this much time, and we gotta like bang it out while we can get in there and lay it down. Like we could really fart around in the studio and just have long days and nights in there and try stuff and have a few adult beverages and maybe a little smoke and twist your mind a little and see what sticks. And that's that for us, that's kind of how we do it. We have a lot of time and freedom in the studio, just working the three of us in there, and we can do it that way.
And do you have any new music coming up with the Brains?
Not right now. Not right now, but
No.
we are like there's nothing recorded or anything, but we are toying with some ideas.
Oh,
A-
cool.
And yeah, you'll hear more about that soon enough, I
And how
suppose.
about so the last album is Satana Tarantula, right?
That's right.
A great album, by the way. I really like it.
Thank you.
Um, if our viewers haven't heard it, you should check it out.
Yes.
It's all over the place, like Spotify, YouTube, all of that, right?
Yeah, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, wherever you stream music from. If you're a real vinyl junkie, you can get that too. Uh,
Where? Your website?
You can order it direct from Cleopatra Records or Batcave Records. I think you can get it from both of those guys. Both of them have web stores. Just check out Batcave Records in your old Google search, and it'll pop right up for you. You can also follow them on Instagram as well for all the latest news.
So let's talk about. Is there anything about the brains that we should also mention? I would like to go to switch focus a little bit onto your other band.
I don't know. There's so much. There's just so all the years of touring and recording with them.
Is there anything that you would like to mention or promote or whatever, so that we can, switch focus to something else?
I think we've covered it. We can switch focus.
We covered it.
Like.
Okay. So your other, also Psychobilly band, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Also Psychobilly with a little bit of a garage influence in there as well.
But you play just upright.
Just upright, yeah.
Okay. For how long have you been with them, and what are the highlights with that band?
I've been with them for just about a couple of years now. Hypnophonics, thank you very much. So that's a band that's been around in Montreal for a while. We were on the same record label as them. I'm saying like Brains and Hypnophonics were on the same label, and we did some touring together. They've had Charlie from the Lab Rats, a Montreal Psychobilly band, play bass for them. They've also had Flipper play bass for them. He's from Gutter Demons, and then now I play bass with them. And I just always really like the band. We get on stage in like these suits and 3D glasses, and everybody's all matchy, flashy, and it's really good, fun music. I really enjoy it. So recently, we were able to put out an EP through Diablo Records, Diablo UK. And that was a big highlight for us, to come back strong and get some recorded music out there. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to tour much just because of COVID and shit like this. But it's been really a lot of fun, playing with them. I can't wait to get back to it.
And where people can also check you out on all these streaming
places. Platforms? Yeah, we're on all the streaming platforms, and you can order the limited edition colored vinyl from Diablo Records as well.
Okay. How many albums have you recorded with Hypnophonics?
Just the one.
Just one. So you've been, for how long have you been around?
I think the band's been around for I want to say like maybe 8-9 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, but they had a long hiatus in the middle. There was at least like a good 4 years where they were just totally inactive. They sort of went off and did their own things professionally. The singer Angus, he's a tattoo artist. He was apprenticing to be a tattoo artist, and now he's a very talented and good tattoo artist. David, he produces a shitload of music videos. He's done videos for The Brains, The Creep Show, as well as a bunch of other bands. And he also works for Pornhub now. So you may see some of his, not as an actor. You're not going to see his penis. But he has had a hand in editing some of your favorite pornography, I'm sure. And then our drummer Danny, he's a painter. He's very busy with that. And then Bobby is an international man of mystery. Nobody knows what he does.
Let's see. We have like a few more questions. Information from Chuck. Kim is back to GK. I bought his Mesa.
Fantastic.
Information. Toombs, what from Orange is good for double bass? Might be interesting. Well, I love Orange 4-stroke 500. I've been using that one, and if you go to Orange website, on that page, you're gonna find Steve Harris' photo and my photo on the 500.
Is that a solid state or a tube amp?
It's I think it's, as I said, like I'm not a gearhead. I
Mm.
think it's there's like something analog about it, but I believe it's solid state.
So maybe like a tube pre or something in there.
I guess
Maybe.
so.
Who knows? Who knows? I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Like I'm the worst guy. I could tell you like, oh, I like this sound. I don't like this sound. That's
Yeah.
pretty much where my knowledge ends. But as far as slap bass goes, I can go in all the depths. um, Woody wrote, I had to retune for the Johnny Cash Roadshow, just so much easier to play. I guess that we were talking when we were talking about drop
Burgundy.
key tuning.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's it for now. Oh, question, Jose Arana. A question for both of you. What are some of your favorite bands to tour alongside with?
Well, I think we covered mine.
Hard question.
Necromantics and Reverend Horton Heat and you guys. The tour with the Swedish metal band Avatar was like off the chain when we did that. But yeah, I don't know. What are some of yours?
I don't know. Like it's just I always find in every single possible situation, like why do I enjoy that way of touring? I really love touring with Dropkick Murphys. That was fun.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. It's just I love touring Mexico. I love touring South America as well. When I play with the band Molotov, it's so that's but they usually don't have opening and support bands, but um, I love that as well. I don't know. I just love touring. There's like I did not have that many bad experiences touring. When I was in a band, Fish Tank Ensemble, we toured with lots of very creative and amazing bands. That was cool too. But all these there's like tons of tons of bands. Um, a gear question. Redback Lounge. What do you think about Hardcake Kickback 12? That's
I
a
don't
question.
think I don't think anything about it. I'm not like huge on Hartkey stuff. Um, I don't know what to say. I've tried a bunch of different stuff from Hartkey. None of it like blew my hair back. So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of ambivalent about it. I'm not against it. I don't love it.
They call you, tell you, hey, Colin, we want you to be the front face for Hardkey now.
I don't think so. No, no.
All right. I would like to hear you play soon, but I have like a few more questions before that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
one thing that I'm interested always to hear is, I mean, your career spreads out for about 15 years, 17 years, something like that now.
Yep.
And what would you say, how things changed for you as a musician since you started until now?
Yeah. That's a good question. Um, I think um, I think early on it was uh, just strictly like I just want to have fun and like live the rock and roll experience kind of a thing. I think when I definitely when I was a teen and stuff like that, I was maybe focused on the wrong aspects of being a musician, where it was like, I want to party and just be wild, and you hear all the like rock and roll stories from the 80s and stuff like that, and like all the wild antics that the bands got up to on tour and stuff like that. But as I've grown and matured, my focus is definitely shifted away from that. I don't want to be like hungover on tour. I don't mess with drugs or any of the stuff like that. My focus on tour is musicianship and performance. That's what really gets me going. Like playing a good show, um, where I feel like I've given everything I can give, as a musician, as an entertainer, as a performer, and I think that for an audience member to take time out of their life and to spend their hard-earned money on like a ticket or a T-shirt or your album or whatever, I think that's a lot. You know, there's I mean, before all this crap, you know, there's a lot they could do. They could go see another band. They could go to the movies. They could go to a bar and play pool with their friends. But they decided to, you know, go to your show. And I feel that to take their hard-earned money and their time, I owe them my best. Because without our fans and people coming to shows, we can't do this. So, you know, if I go up on stage and I'm like half in the bag or hungover or just wrecked from partying for weeks or whatever, I don't know. I think that's kind of bullshit. For me, anyway. I mean, there's a lot of people who can do it. I find that it deteriorates me if I try to do that. So now, you know, I'm older, more mature. I'm 33 now. And now I'm more.
Years.
Pardon me?
Your Jesus years.
Yes, I guess so. So now I guess I want to be more Christ-like.
That's why you pee that often, right?
Yeah, I'm getting rid of the sins.
I would like to hear you play something. Anything to fulfill any of these requests or something else?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Oh, I just got a YouTube subscriber. Thanks, guys. Keep subscribing. YouTube.com/Colin the Dead. All right.
1,000 subscribers, right?
Yeah, we're working our way there, baby. Let's see. That's a great question. So what have I played already? I think what I'll do is I'll play a song that maybe a lot of people don't know of ours from the Brains, because it's one of our like 2 songs that we did in French, and it's called Après cette nuit, which translates to After Tonight.
All right, let's do that.
Yes.
All right, while Colin's getting ready, I'd like to remind you, like, to hit that subscribe button on my channel as well. Like, share, all of that. And hopefully you enjoyed these. Like, I got like a couple emails like with requests for future guests. Please continue to do that. Send me an email. Send us an email at contact@artofslapbass.com. And write it down in the comments below the video. You write it here on the side. I'm not able actually to see them. So I guess the comments would be this side. Live chat comments, but I want them here. Okay, so Colin is ready and we are ready for some. right.
Thank you.
Oh, don't leave the bass yet. All right. We talked about it earlier.
Yes.
And you mentioned we talked that how you have a unique way of playing. I mean, I don't know how would you call it. Do you call it a triplet or there's like a more than actually just three hits?
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Give me 1 second to get my mic stand over the other
All righty.
desk here.
In the meantime, Hi What wrote a great song, Merci. Charlie wrote Let's Go. Charlie goes Psycho. Great job, Colin. Hi from the North Shore.
All right.
Radback Lounge. Take my bass and slap with you. And Jose Arana, Nick, Presser. Everyone loves your playing, man.
Oh, awesome. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you having me on the show, too. It's a great honor. So many esteemed guests, so talented. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thanks, man.
Welcome. I'm glad we were able to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking about, during the touring times, I would never be able to do this, like every Saturday or any day of the week. But Saturday's been good. I think that 11 a.m. that what I do it every Saturday in California time.
Yeah.
Slapsville time. It's kind of good, like everywhere in the world, except maybe Australia, New Zealand. That's a little tough for them, but but the rest of the world, I think it's working pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
The time. All right, so let's talk about your unique way of playing that
Yeah.
roll drag. I don't know how you call it. How do you call it?
So, I guess technically it's kind of like a rolling quad, because there's four slaps going into it. So it's kind of similar to what you've touched with Kim and Zach, where they're sort of rolling their wrist across like this to get like a bucket kind of thing going. But I can't do that. I don't play bump strings, and I'm not very good at it. I don't know if it's because of bump strings or because of me. It's probably both. But I sort of figured this out on my own, but taking inspiration from this. I think it's like a Spanish style where they would fucking mic stand. Let's see here. There we go. So there was this thing I saw where they would sort of roll their hand across. They would hit it with like the side of their hand or whatever and go like this. But I don't know. I felt like for me I don't like a lot of wasted movement. So like turning your hand this far seems silly to me. Guys who slap like this seems really silly to me, where they'll slap up here and then pull down here. Like I don't get that. Everything for me is in one spot. It's right here. So so to do this, what you're doing is you're hitting. So it's like a slap, pull with your middle finger, and then so this is all sort of a flick of the hand thing. So it's slap, pull with middle finger, and then as you pull and your hand rolls, you hit it with your thumb. So it's like 1, 2, 3 slap, 4 slap. So it sounds like this. Obviously much harder to do it slow. So da ga da 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 ga da da. Yeah. So I don't it's kind of like a rolling triplet, rolling quad, I guess. I don't know if there's a real name for it. I know in other episodes you've discussed and debated what is single, double, triple, quad slap and all this stuff.
I want to do that with you as well. So this is interesting. Since you're talking about, I don't think that I'm gonna even try this like on my setup. Maybe I should just get a different bass like for all you
For the
psychobilly.
psychobilly slap streams.
Yeah, because every time I try it, it's just like my high action, high tension steel strings. It's just like it's not working for this. But anyway, so what I wanted to say, I mean, there's lots of people interested in that technique, so I think it's very worth it to show in. So for me, it kind of sounds like a roll, like I almost cannot hear that last thumb um, hit. Is that one like that you do like when you do these slaps in a row, or it's just like if you do one, it also sounds like that?
I don't usually run them like one after like repeatedly like I'm doing for the demonstration. I won't do that. So generally what I'm gonna do is I'll be like, so I throw it in as I think you've called them ornaments before. I throw it in as like an ornament. So yeah, just to like sort of spice it up as I go along. I'm not gonna like just like pump it repeatedly.
Why
Really.
not? There's never too much slap.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple songs where I do that, but I don't rely on it. Like if I'm gonna go repeatedly, I think I'd rather just go like that, you know, or rather than doing. But I don't know.
Let's talk about different slap patterns that you're using.
Mhm.
So, and you know, how do you call the particular slap style?
Of course.
So are you using that terminology like single slap, double slap, triple slap type of thing, or not?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I went too high there. Yes. So I definitely use single, double, triple, quad. There we go. Sorry about that. Yes. So, I mean, to me, a single slap is just you just pull the string. Like to me, a slap is every time the string rebounds off the fingerboard. So single, double, triple, and then like quads can be like, I don't know, triples can be like a drag too, where you're going like heel, palm, pull. And then like a quad kind of thing. The last slap that you're not hearing in the thumb is it's because it follows in such quick succession to the pull on my middle finger. So it's like pull and then like immediately after the thumb comes down. So like brah, brah. I don't know. I can't even make the sound with my mouth. But but yeah, that's kind of how I see it. So single, double, triple, quad. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with a single, double, triple. Definitely, you know, that's how I always count uh, string slap and the palm slap. You know, like
Yeah.
each of these work. I count both in order to get the to explain it to someone. I mean, in general, I don't care about naming them, but it's helpful, like for a communication, you know, communication purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
So since you have your bass with you, and then you play that quad that you call, do you mind playing your drag slap and quad back and forth, just like so we can hear the difference?
Yeah, absolutely. So drag. Oh, I'm just fuck. I haven't done drags in a while. So yeah, that's. So and then the roll. Wait. So very similar, but just a little different rhythm to it, I find.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds very similar. So that's what I wanted to hear. You go hear them back and forth. Do you use any other slap patterns in your playing?
Um, I don't think
Except
nothing.
an accident.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Like I really like a lot of the like in Drunk Not Dead, like the so bucket the pa bucket the pa bucket the pa bucket the pa.
Do you have a how do you call that?
I don't know. I don't know how you would call that. I think it's kind of like a. It's definitely got like a Latin vibe to it, you know. Um, I think a lot of the brain stuff does have that sort of Latin vibe. Renee's got his own little spicy flavor in there, you know. Um, yeah, I don't know what you would call that. It's something. It's something that I do a lot though. Like, what else?
I usually like to call it rumba because it's that
Rumba.
because it's that 3-3-2 feel that 3/8 notes, 3/8 notes, 2/8 notes. That's kind of the standard rumba, and then I usually apply it for a slap as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, I do just like a lot of like double slap stuff. Bonus points if you know that Quake song. Um, I do a lot of that double stuff, and then a lot of it is just like we have a lot of like fast songs. Um, so it's just like a lot of like really fast single like. Just a lot of like really quick stuff like that, and then if you're doing quick stuff like that, I'll just like just stuff like that, I guess.
Got it. Thank you for the lesson.
Yeah, no problem.
And I what wrote mariachi.
Yes, yeah. We have a song called "Cucaracha in Leather," which is big on that. I don't know. I would like to start incorporating like tapping into songs as well. Yeah.
Your strength height is not that high. You might be
No.
able to do it, right?
Yeah. You definitely can tap.
All right. So, have you ever recorded anything with that?
No.
Do you plan to?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I think it would be a disservice to the bass community to not tap on a double bass on a recording at some point.
Cool. All right. So I have a few more questions about your gear, and then some stuff like so. I think you can sit down, and then I'll ask you at the end, one more time, like to play something, maybe one of
Sure.
these requests.
Sure. Let me just put my shit down here. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. So as usual, like while Colin is getting ready to get back to his chair and continue talking, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, slap it, and slap that like, and slap the comment, and live chat, and all of that. And let me know who would you like me to feature next time. It's interesting. I never know. I never know who to feature until about 2 days before, and I have a list of people that I want to call, but the schedule's been crazy, so I never know. And here's Manny Toloche. Sup? Much love, brother. Or I'm glad you're here. We had Manny few weeks ago, and he did a great episode, and we talked about conjunto and all kinds of Toloche stuff. If you haven't checked that episode, make sure to do that. All right, so Colin is back.
Yeah.
Cool. So, all right, we touched the subject about your influences a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody else that you would like to mention as far as bass players? You mentioned Kim and Steve Whitehouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are the biggest members you think
Holly and Valet.
besides them? Yeah.
Um, I think they're like Matt Freeman, because again, like he's the bassist for Rancid. He was a huge influence on me. You know, he's the one who like really got me going into bass, where I was like, ooh, I want to do that. Like I want to play the solo to Maxwell Murder. I want to play Exile. You know, songs like that, just like crazy punk bass lines. That was huge for me. And I think that that's sort of ingrained in me for sure. His bass playing, but you know, like not that I can play like that, but you know, you hear guys like Victor Wooten and that, and you're just like, oh shit, okay, like there are levels to this slap game, like there. Who else? Wes. I really like Wes from the Quakes. Wes Hinshaw. He's a fantastic bass player. I always love watching him play. He's just he's just very good. He's very good. We were lucky enough to do a tour with the legendary Shack Shakers as well. And what was his name?
Mark Robertson.
Nope, it was the other fella. What?
Played after Mark.
Pardon me? Yeah.
Jeff Arbo. He did some tours with them.
No, it wasn't him. It was a southern gentleman. He had one of those Chadwick folding basses too.
Oh, is it might be the guy from Two Man Gentleman Band?
Perhaps. Oh, why can't I remember his name? I feel like such a dick. My brain. Anyway, yeah, he was amazing. He could do anything, you know. And the legendary Shack Shakers have so many like different like weird influences mixed in there. It was really incredible to see him go from like slapping to bowing to just playing like pizzicato. He was really good. I learned a lot watching him. We did a tour with them and the Delta Bombers, and me and Goya would be on the side of the stage like, man, this guy fucking knows the bass back to front, up and down. It was cool. He was really good.
Okay.
Who else? Yeah, of course, Jimbo, Lee Rocker. But then I also really liked. I don't know his name. I don't know that much about the band, but I really like Cab Calloway's bassist. He was awesome.
Depends what time. Like he had like a few different cool bass players. If you're talking about Reefer Man era, like from the early 30s, that will be Al Rex.
Yeah.
And then a year or two later, like Emil Hinton joined. And so depends which songs, but Cap Calloway's always had good bass players.
Yeah, real good. Real good. So yeah, that's those you know, of course, Bill Black.
And if you're talking about, I'm pretty sure you're talking about Fuller Condon that played with.
Thank you, Fuller Condon. There you go. Yeah, that's it.
I know him because he toured. He was in an opening band when I played with Fish Tank Ensemble, and we were on the same booking agency. His old band called Two Man Gentleman Band, and they were opening for us. And he's a good bass player. And then I saw him play with Shack Shakers later on. Okay. Carolyn wrote, I love Cucaracha and Letter, Tercio de Muerte, Trisca de Phobia, great instrumental trio. Are you doing Trisca de Phobia? Is that your song?
No.
Oh, what is that?
I don't know.
Why? Okay. I didn't get it. Cool. Okay. So Shack Shakers are awesome. Yes, they are. Mad Twins. Greetings to everyone. Mad Twins, you rule. Best designs around. Check them out if you haven't already. Hi, what? DiMaggio Brothers, no drums. DiMaggio Brothers were excellent. I love their rendition of one of the Elvis songs, "Don't Be Cruel." I think they did a pretty cool version of it. Cool slapping on it. The dude from Longtow, Texas. Yes. Triska is Necromantic song. Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry, Caroline. Sorry, Cloudberry, and sorry, Kim, for not knowing your discography that well. Um, Triska Decaphobia is also an album from Jimmy Sutton's old band, Jimmy Sutton's Four Charms, with some amazing slap playing. Um, anyone, you mentioned lots of, I mean, 80s and 90s bass players. Anyone like old besides Bill Black and Cab Calloway's bass player?
Mm, um, let's see. I really liked Louis Prima's bass player. Again, don't know his name. He was awesome though. He probably had a bunch of different bass players too.
He did. He did have like a lot
A
of them.
lot. But he had a lot of good ones.
Yeah, with Cab, it's different. You have like a few at that prime time, so it's a little bit easier to determine who that
Yeah,
was.
exactly.
Um,
Let's see who else. Uh, I'm really blanking on names today, guys. I'm sorry
no,
about this. But
no worries.
oh, who's that big fella? He was a famous slapper. He did that song, "Man, Do I Get Nervous?"
Oh, Willie Dixon.
Yeah, Willie Dixon. Oh man, he's awesome.
Oh
He's
yeah,
he's just like he could like manhandle the bass. Like I don't know how he got it. Like his staccato stuff was just so clean and like hard. He really hit it.
yeah. He was excellent. He was like, I mean, especially as a songwriter, as a slapper as well. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love his style. I remember when I discovered him, I was listening to that stuff all the time, like Big 3 Up. So impressed.
Yeah,
Really
really
cool
good.
stuff. How did you develop your own style of playing?
I never had lessons. I had never had anybody to learn from. Everything I learned was going back to getting that fucking mixtape from my band teacher. Everything I learned was just listening to albums over and over and over and over and trying to play it. And I'm sure I have some terrible habits, and some guys with like really really good technique, such as yourself, might be like, yeah, he's okay, but he doesn't know what he's doing. But I just I had to make it up, and like I couldn't do the Kim Neckerman shuffle with the pinky and the thing, so I figured out my own way to do it. It was just listening to records I liked and trying to play along with it, and doing the best I can, and just sort of developing it from there. Everything I learned was from either listening to an album or watching a band play live. And so, without formal training, I just sort of had to go my own way, and I guess that's how I figured it out and developed my own style.
It's everybody has their own path, and it's interesting how listening too much music can help you develop your own style, but it can also, if you're just trying to copy
Yeah.
other people's playing, it can kind of take you further away from creating and building out your own voice.
hmm I think it's important to play in a variety of bands too, in a variety of styles.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, absolutely.
If you just do one thing, then you're just kind of pigeonholed in that one spot. But if you can take influences from all over the place and sort of incorporate them into your playing, then you can have a little bit of this marimba style, and a little bit of this jazz style and blues style and rockabilly and psychobilly and big band and swing and all this stuff, and just sort of take everything that you like personally, and then melt it down into your own personal essence.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
Mm.
That's the name of the game for me.
Yeah.
What would you say are the most essential slap bass recordings for you? If
That's
you
a
had
good
to like to do a mixtape and then give it to someone like 10 songs or
10
something.
songs.
It doesn't have to
Uh,
be 10, but you know what would you say is the most essential for you?
um, so definitely Clockwork Toy, Frenzy. Um, I would say um, uh, Revenge is Mine by the Quakes. 234 Mad Sin. Um, let's see. I think Diablo by Frantic Flintstones is a song that doesn't get enough attention. That song fucking slaps. I love it. I love playing that bass line. It's really, really fun. 400 Bucks by Reverend Horton Heat. There's a lot of necromantic songs that I would put in there too, man. Communication Breakdown is a huge one for me. That's another Mad Sin song. Lone Shark by Guanabats. Like that bucket the 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 bucket ticket. Yeah, I don't know. Like those are some big ones for me there.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Your whatever is your preference.
Yeah,
Uh, Charlie Goes Psycho. Hey Colin, only saw the Hypnophonics once. Can you play a song from them, please?
sure.
Uh, so we can do that. Let's see. Okay, so it seems that I got like now when I asked this, I got lots of suggestions. Great, thank you. That's really helpful. But after this is over, I'm not going to be able to see. It's not very easy to see the live chat. So please write all the suggestions in the under the video. Under the video, I can access that very easy. So if you want to see your favorite slapper at your favorite slap show and the only slap show, do that, please. I would really appreciate that. So it seems that you played mostly rockabilly and psychobilly music. Have you played any music styles that did not require slap?
Mm, not professionally, not in public. Um, I would do it like at home. Like I'll play like uh, jazzier stuff. I'll play I like to sometimes I'll play like some Dean Martin, you
Oh,
know.
so a little
Yeah.
pizzicato action.
Yeah, yeah, for sure,
Do you play with a bow at all?
No, no, my first bass came with a bow. Um and I fucked around with it for a little while, and then I switched to nylon strings and I didn't fuck with it ever again.
Um, do you have? This is a question that I always like to ask, and I think it's very helpful, like for upcoming bass players that want to do what you do, what we do. Um, do you have any advice how to get the gig?
Yeah. Um my number one advice that I always give to everybody is practice, practice, practice until you think you're ready, and then practice some more. Um, a lot of people will ask me like, "Oh, like how do I go fast, or how do I do this, or how do I play this insane song?" And it's like, well, until you've like mastered uh your abilities of playing it slow, then I don't think you should be going super fast, because it's just going to be like a sloppy mess. I'm pretty rusty right now. I'm sure some of the shit that I just played was like, far from like, my touring like chops of where I'm at. Just I haven't been touring, but I think the biggest advice is just practice, and get yourself really, really good. Get yourself really confident, and then just get yourself out there. Do clips of you playing on Instagram and on Facebook. Join the forums or the groups on social media, and just talk to other bass players, and get to know people, and go out to shows. Go out to shows, meet the bands, talk to them, and sometimes people quit bands. Sometimes other people at that show are musicians themselves. You might be a bass player, and you'll meet a guitarist at the show, and you guys will hit it off, and maybe the next week you're in a practice room together, jamming and stuff like that. So I just think it's important to practice, focus on yourself, and learning and growing your abilities, but also like get out there and meet other musicians. And that's the way I did it. That's the way a lot of people I know did it. And it worked for me.
I'm glad you mentioned clips on Instagram, because most of the advices that I guess that most of the players that I interviewed are older than us, and then the approach is a little bit different. Hardly anyone, except few people, like mentioned something like that. Put clips of your playing on Instagram, be active on social media or stuff like that. And that's what I'm interested in, like to hear different approaches, because back in the day it was like put an ad in a music store, or put an ad on a Craigslist, or do this or do that, or like go to jam sessions or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we should still, all of us, go to jam sessions. That's the best way to meet musicians. But there are all these other ways, that you can get someone to notice you, and then figure out like, oh, I might need that guy. And like you did, like as in you played in an opening band, and Rene asked you like to join his band, and then he told you you have to be today here.
Yeah. It was it was insane. Like I called my girlfriend at the time first. She was at work, and I was like, when you come home, I will already be gone. This is something I need to do for myself to
Oh wow.
to see if I can do it. And then the second call was to my boss saying, sayonara. I'm out of here. I got to go do this. I'll see you in 2 weeks. That was something I needed to do for myself.
So you came back. So they were cool, for letting you go for a little bit, but right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I went for 2 weeks to go and do my audition for the Brains, and go and record and do a little video stuff and do a couple shows. But of course I had to go back, like I had more loose ends to tie up than just my suitcase, my bass, and my rig. I had to like go pack my shit and move my fucking life across the country, go rent a U-Haul trailer and throw everything in there and pare it down to the essentials. And then I moved into the drummer for the Brain, Frank. I moved into his spare room while I looked for an apartment in Montreal, and it was just sort of like a make it or break it, do or die kind of situation. I was like, this is my opportunity, and I am young and reckless, and I want to fucking do it, and I'm gonna fucking do it, come hell or high water. Get out of my way. I'm doing this damn thing. And
So the girlfriend and the boss were ex-girlfriend and ex-boss after you came back?
yeah, ex both. Yeah, I mean, my boss was like, she knew what I wanted to do, and it was no secret. I was the kid in the kitchen with the quiff and the tattoos. Like, she knew I wasn't gonna follow the status quo, and my girlfriend at the time, she knew it too. And it's not like Montreal is a shithole. Like it's not very hard to twist someone's arm to move here. If it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna move back to Winnipeg, then she might be like, I'll stay. Montreal is hard to turn down.
Yeah. And so you've been in Montreal ever since?
Yeah, I've been here about 11 years now, I guess.
Oh, and then Rene moved out.
Yeah, he fucking left me high and dry. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I came here. I love it here. I met my wife in the area. So yeah, I like it here. Who knows? Maybe I'll go out west and meet up with Rene for some fairer weather and to get back to the mountains. I do miss the mountains.
Oh yeah, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, like from other people's, I mean, from non-Canadians, like most of the people think about Canada, kind of have like a similar weather, but it's a huge difference between East Coast and West Coast.
Huge.
So this is like advice section. Do you have any advice like on younger players, and maybe point out like some mistakes that you did, and like so they can avoid just in that process, or just like what to suggest, like for them like to be better musicians?
Sure. I've touched on it already, and I made the mistake myself, trying to go too fast. You're not going to be able to play Os Catalepticos in your first month of playing bass. You need to work on the fundamentals a bit more before you get going to breakneck speeds. That was something that I fucked with. I was overexcited and overzealous. Just like focus on being tight first. Learn the fingerboard. Get your single and double and triple slaps. Your ba taka ba. Pull, push, pull. Get that really solid, and then speed them up, and then go from there. Another thing is you don't need an 810 and 1,000 watts off the bat. Like I think you should maybe invest more of your money on your first bass. Like say you need to get a bass and an amp and a cabinet and you want to do the whole damn thing. Focus more on your bass at first, and then let your gear grow as your music career grows. You don't need 1,000 watts to play to 30 of your friends in a dive. What else?
Is there anything that you would recommend for fellow bass players to practice on a daily basis, maybe?
Yeah. Practice your scales. Like I said, learn your way around the fingerboard. Play along to your favorite songs. I don't know if you can. You can sometimes you can like plug like an aux cable into your amp or whatever, and then plug a set of headphones in there and sort of mix your bass tone and your the music that you're listening to together. That's really fun. That's something I do to practice a lot. I'll just play my favorite songs or try to learn my favorite songs, and that's a great way to work on your technique and do stuff that maybe you wouldn't normally do. That's in your own style, to just sort of toy around with other people's stuff. I don't know. Just practice a lot. Get your calluses up. Super glue and tape if you need to, and then keep going.
Do you have any ways like that you warm up before the show, or you just go straight to the stage?
No, I have a lot of stuff that I'll do backstage. I have a riff that I play for every sound check. Maybe when we play something in a bit, I can play that riff that I always do for every sound check, and I do it backstage as well as a warm up. It's I don't know. It's just a riff that I always fall back on. I'm sure there's a lot of bass players who have that riff that they do for sound check or to warm up. Um, yeah, I like to warm up a lot backstage. I'll do some stretching. Um, I'll warm up my wrists. You know, you just get it going, like roll them around, stretch out, do all your stuff, and then pick up your bass and just sort of go slow and you know tune up and start warming up slowly, and then start doing like the different more complicated slap techniques, and then just work on your intonation and stuff like that a little bit. I think those are all really important when you're warming up before a gig. I know a lot of us starting out, you don't have a backstage and a dressing room to do all that stuff in and to like properly warm up, and that's part of the game. But just try during changeover while they're wrapping their cables, maybe sneak into a dark corner, pull your bass out of its gig bag, and get warmed up a little bit. That really helps. It really helps, because I find that like if I don't do that first song, I'm stiff, and like my arm will cramp up and my wrist isn't as fluid as it should be, and it's really important to warm up.
Do you have any ways, I mean, did you ever have problems with feedback and how do you fight it?
Yeah, definitely. So early on with like the Hofner student bass, feedback was a nightmare, and at the same time I didn't know that much about gear and how sound works and stuff like that. So I would like squeeze it really hard with my knees, or put tape over my F holes and shit like that. Nowadays, like my Blast Cult bass behind me here, there, it has the dual adjustable sound posts in the back. So it's, normally you have one sound post in your bass. This one has two under each foot of the bridge. Um, and those sound posts in the back, there's like an Allen key slot where you can tighten or loosen your sound posts. So I have them cranked pretty hard. They're in there pretty tight. That definitely helps. I also like to use a compressor and a noise gate on stage. I just have like a cheapo, I think it's like $120, just like a rack mount compressor noise gate, and I think those are really good. I'll run like a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 compression, a little gate on it, fast attack, fast release. I really like the sound of it. I like how it helps with feedback. Get your EQ right. Make sure your bass is set up right, and it shouldn't be a problem. Like you should be able to have your settings at flat, all across the board, and not be feeding back all over the place. So you can work on that stuff. A lot of guys will have like a frequency notch, or like cut the mids or whatever, scoop the mids out. That can help with feedback in some situations. What else? A phase switch. Like if you've got the shadow preamp, it's got a phase switch on it. That's really helpful to get rid of some hum and stuff in some situations that you run into in some venues. So all those things can help. I also like having like a big chunky, like I put a longboard skateboard wheel on my end pin, and having something excuse me, sort of thick and rubbery helps, because sometimes you're on stage and you're like standing over a subwoofer. Like there's a subwoofer right under your feet, and that can be gnarly sometimes. So just like having like a thick chunky bit of rubber on your end pin, and then maybe putting down a carpet over that, just to like try and isolate yourself from the vibrations of the stage, because all of that is going to travel right up your end pin and make your bass howl like crazy. So those are all things you can try, I guess. And then, if all else fails, squeeze it with your knees, tape your F-holes, and pray.
That's good advice. Um, so since we started talking about your gear, so how many upright basses you have?
Right now I have two. I have one that stays with me here in North America at home. That's my Blast Cult that's behind me. And then I have another bass that lives in Italy right now, and that one is a King double bass. And
Oh,
yeah,
same maker.
yeah, I've been ride or die with them since I smashed my Hofner student bass into 1,000 pieces. So
Oh,
yeah,
how's
I was standing on it.
oh,
Yep. I was being
huh.
foolish, and I was trying to do something that I saw Zach Victor do, and I split it down the front, and I think it snapped right at like uh, at the headstock, right above the nut, kind of thing. Zach does this thing. He does like a kickflip off of his bass. He's fucking insane. He's like such a showman. I think I tried to do that shit, and I broke the shit out of my bass. It cost so much to repair, and I did repair it, but then like I was like, okay, I'm gonna like get another bass, and I saw the King basses, and I was just in love with it. And they play great, nice fast necks. They're reinforced, so they don't have as much feedback and stuff like that. They're more of like a bass to be amplified and toured with. Um, and I just really like the stuff that Jason does. He makes great basses. They look great. They feel great. They sound great. Yeah, those are my go-to. Those are my two basses.
Well, it's an interesting story. The only time I broke the bass is when I tossed the bass in the air, but I did not notice that the ceiling was really low.
Oh yeah.
And it was, I mean, it was gypsy music show. It was not even a rock and roll show, right? So I did this, and it was kind of like some underground New York venue, part of the warehouse. It's it was interesting and cool. But anyway, so I tossed it, and I always catch it, but I didn't know. First thing, I did not notice that the ceiling was really low, and the second thing is that my hands were super sweaty, and I did not catch it.
No,
So,
sweaty hands are the devil's playground when
oh
you're
yeah,
doing bass tricks.
and I almost killed some people because I did it, right at the end of the stage, and then it fell. But it was a table right there, so
Oh god.
it could have hit like a people right next to it. It was terrible. But anyway, so but everybody loved it, because it was such kind of like a rock and roll moment at the very end of the show. So anyway, so that's my like bass breaking story. And like
Yeah.
there was a dude like super nice. He came right after the show. He's like, "Hey, I fix instruments. I can do this. Just come tomorrow. I'll do
Oh,
it."
that's fucking awesome. That's so
All
convenient.
right.
Oh god.
Was in the middle of a tour. I was like, "What am I gonna do
I
now?"
know. I know. That's my biggest fear, is being like midway through a tour where you have one bass. You're like, maybe not in a major market where they don't have like good luthier shops or music stores where you can get like a cheapo replacement bass to get you through or whatever. Like, these things are big, they're expensive, and they're reasonably fragile. So like, wow, there was one tour we did. We were going across Canada, and we were in Montreal on the East Coast, and we drove across to start the tour around Vancouver on the West Coast. And we had the Ford E350 van with the trailer, the classic touring setup. And we got to our destination, and I pulled my bass out of the trailer, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna fiddle around in the hotel room, get warmed up for the show tomorrow, and practice a bit. And I pulled the bass out of the case, and like the whole, like the, I guess maybe we hit the brakes too hard or something like that, but the end pin like was like smashed into the bottom of the bass, and the whole bottom of the bass was like caving in like this. And I was just like, oh my fucking God. Like I felt sick to my stomach. I did throw up just out of like sheer stress and like freaking out about it. And yeah, I just like I went to the hardware store, and I got like some glue and some tools and stuff, and I did what I could. I'm not good at that shit by any means, for sure, but it did survive the tour. And then I took it home to a proper luthier, and he was like, "What the fuck did you do to this thing?" And I was like, I did what I had to do, man." Just like, don't shame me, just fix it. That's that's my biggest fear is breaking my shit on tour. That's crazy, you know.
I remember hearing Paul Roman talking about fixing basses on the tour, on the Quakes tours all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and that must have been a nightmare, And I did not have that experience, and I hope I won't have to
No.
do that. We have like a few comments in the meantime from Ribak Lounge. Jam sessions are terrible. Everyone want to play with slap bass player, only blues. Do you ever go to jam sessions?
Not so much anymore, but uh, when I was like in my early 20s and late teens, I did all the time. I would go to like open mics and jam sessions at bars, and I would just play with whoever would have me. There was a couple like blues rock bands that they did kind of like like Blues Brothers, the movie Blues Brothers. They did this, stuff like that. One guy was on guitar, one guy was drummer, the other guy played harmonica or something like this. And I would jump on stage with them. I would jump on stage with country guys or singer-songwriters. Um, there was one guy that played a little bit of rockabilly piano. Um, he's kind of had like a Jerry Lee Lewis thing going on, and I would play with him if he would have me. I didn't give a fuck. I wanted especially early on. I just wanted stage time and to get out there and play music with people. So yeah, honestly, I did a lot of it. I would go every week. Every week, I would carry my bass down there.
I think that jam sessions are actually great.
Yeah.
I did. I never went to open mics, but I was going to jam sessions all the time, mostly jazz,
Mm-hmm.
and which could be tricky. It's good like for your chops and like to keep you on your toes, but it's kind of, it could be, I mean, it could be challenging, especially if the people are not so friendly, and then they tell you, "Hey, like let's play this like B-side single of Miles Davis from." I'm like, "Oh my, I can't do this."
No, like,
No,
like, what are you gonna like? How are you supposed to just pull that out of your ass?
no. I mean, jazz, like hardcore jazz people know thousands of songs, and then
Yeah.
I never. I mean, I'm fairly good at jazz, but I wouldn't consider myself the jazz guy.
Mm-mm.
And so at one point, like going to gym sessions kind of stopped being that interesting. But I do make an effort. There's like one club, I think it's in Harlem, where I like going, and it's really cool, jamming with, with the cats that really know how to do it. And as long as there's no that vibing going on,
Yeah, yeah.
which can often happen with jazz people. Um, from Tesla Vision TV, do you date slap bass girls only, or any other instrument?
um, I'm equal opportunity. You know, you don't have to be a slapper. My wife, she's not really a musician. She plays a little bit of piano. But yeah, you know, it's not like I'm out there looking for like a pure slap family or anything like this.
I don't think I ever dated a slap bass girl.
I haven't either.
Yeah, there's not that many out there.
No. And the ones who are out there are taken. So
District 66, love that bass in the song Head on Poles by Demented Argo.
yeah, good song.
Uh, Jose, Arana, you two are Blaskov brothers. Guess so. To you both, where did you get your first upright bass from? Was it a new or secondhand? Did you make any special setups on that bass? On the bass.
Mm,
You first.
okay. I got mine from like a guitar shop. It was the only bass they had there. And like it was the only one I could afford. I think it was like maybe like $900 or $1,000, something like that. I don't know if it was new or used. If it was used, it was in great condition. You know, it probably just sat in somebody's living room and got played occasionally. So yeah, that's where I got my first bass. Did I do anything special to it? Not really. Like for a long time, I just played the strings that were on it. It had like dog shit steel strings. You know, it wasn't anything fancy. And then eventually, I think the first set of strings I bought was a set of Labella Super Nils, and then after that I got K&K pickup and preamp system. How about you?
So my first bass was, I believe, I was 12 or 13 maybe,
Wow.
and I try to convince my parents how I'm gonna. No, I started playing bass when I was 12, but like a year later they bought me a bass. So I had to prove myself um, to them that I'm serious about it. So I went to music elementary school. Um, and then they said like, all right, if you stick to it like more than a year, we're gonna get you a bass. I just wanted to play in a band, and but I'm glad I did all the schooling and everything. Really helped me out. But anyway, so it was a bass was a Russian flat back, kind of like they made those like a factory basses. It was I still have it. It's pretty good bass. And when I was talking to Tomas from Kings of Nothing,
Mm.
and he mentioned that he had actually the exact same bass.
Oh, cool.
And did I do anything on it especially? I did. I changed the fingerboard. I put the ebony fingerboard. Did that. That helped. I forgot which strings had it, but I always played Tomastic, mostly Tomastic Spiral Core. Last few years, I mostly played their prototype that they are making, but it's unfortunately not available publicly. But they usually make me a couple sets a year, so I've been doing that. And back in those days, I don't even remember what was my first pickup. Maybe Shadow, the old Shadow, SH something.
Yeah, like the wing pickup.
I was at that time they didn't have two; they had just with one.
Yeah.
I think so, or it
Yeah.
was the opposite. Well, I forgot. It was a long time ago. But anyway, Shadow was no. Before that, I had like some really crappy pickup that looked like a quarter, and you had to kind of glue it or on the bridge. It was yeah, it was not good.
A fucking contact pickup. They sound like dog shit.
It was awful. I remember that. I was
Oh, they're
excited
bad.
to have it, and then I was like, "Oh my, this
Yeah.
is not gonna cut it."
No, no, no.
I think that answers all that question.
Yeah,
Chuck Carnell, love my King bass.
absolutely.
XSHX1, Kings of Nothing original bass player, used to do some crazy bass flip while playing. That band was insane to see live. Unfortunately, I never seen them live, and
Ah,
I did hear all of their records, and they were excellent. I'm bummed I haven't seen them. Have you seen them live?
I saw them once, and it was
Oh, cool.
incredible. It was incredible, man.
Who was playing bass?
Um,
Tomas or some the guy?
I'm trying to remember. I'm 90% sure it was Tomas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, bass. He's fantastic too. He's fucking awesome. He rips.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I featured him a month ago, a little over a month.
I know.
Great guy, good friend. Betty, Blues Brothers. I guess you mentioned that. Colin's dead, liking two kinds of music, country and western. Someone from Calgary. Hello from Calgary. Thank you both for inspiring me today.
Oh, right on, Shay.
Slapstream is here every Saturday to inspire you, Shay.
Yeah, you can learn some good shit on here. Trust me.
Yeah. Redback Lounge. I have also shadow cut one side of the two. Works great. All right. So we're done with that. Back to the gear. So we covered your bases, and what kind of fingerboard do you have on there?
So that's the thing is like these blast cults. He calls it like swamp wood or something like this.
Ah, that one. Okay. So
Yeah,
not
yeah,
sure if he still does that, um, but yeah, I remember that he was doing that for a while.
yeah. So yeah, that's what it's got on it. I think the king might have like an ebonized fingerboard on it.
What
Um,
ebonite means? That means I know it means it's not ebony, but what is it actually?
it's like a coating they put on it. So like
Okay.
that was the thing is like I had these the first like I said the first strings that I bought that were not like the strings that come with the bass were these Labella Super Nils, and they're kind of notorious for like gouging the shit out of your fingerboard. And
Hmm.
so like you would see like oh wait, that part of the fingerboard is not black anymore. There is like a groove that has been cut out, and you're seeing the wood underneath, and you're like, okay, this is not pure through and through what is happening here. So yeah, it's like a coating they put on it.
That happened to me like when Jason and one of my bases put the swamp wood,
Hmm.
and after I believe it was 2 months of playing with Tomastic spiral chords on it, was like grooves.
Yeah,
It's like okay, so I am switching. I think I told you I want ebony.
yeah,
And
yeah. Ebony is the golden standard.
yeah, some people like prefer rosewood because apparently it sounds warmer with gut strings.
Hmm.
I like rosewood sounds too, but ebony is probably my favorite
Hmm.
for my style of playing and the setup that I have. Oh, we have someone from Australia, and it's not someone. It's Slappin' Dan listening in from Australia. Many wise words spoken today. Please play some more.
Will do.
He will. Like I think we're close to the end. I would like to cover the Colin setup, gear, and all of that. If you guys have any questions for Colin, now's the time to post them. Questions, please, in a live chat. Suggestions for future guests in the comments section of the video below. Um, all right, so we covered the bases. You said, as far as the amp, you always play Galen Kruger.
Yeah, almost always. I'm really fond of the GK 1001 RB.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's been like my go-to amp forever. Recently, I have been playing a Mesa Subway D800. That's a Class D amp. I really like that because it's like this big. It has 800 watts and it'll work on international voltage. So I just have to change the AC cable in the back, and then I can play it in the UK. I can play it in
Oh, cool.
California. I can play it wherever. Doesn't matter. It'll work on all voltages, and it's so small you can just throw it in your backpack. So it's great to have it as either a backup amp on tour, or just if you're going out for a weekender and you want to travel light. That's great. So those are my two amps that I really like. Another amp that I've tried that I really like is the Mark Bass Ninja amp. It's got like a green face on it. I think it was some special model that they did for jazz bassist. I don't remember his name. But there was we were playing in Germany, and there was a fella in the opening band, and he had this thing, and he played, and I was like, that thing sounds fucking great. And during changeover, I just plugged in and gave it a quick slap, and it sounded awesome. So yeah, those are the three that I really
Cool.
like. Yeah.
What about cabinets?
For cabinets, right now I'm using the GK Neo cabinets. I really like my Neo 412. I used to, I've had everything. I've had a GK 410 RBH, a GK 410 RBX. I've had an RBH 15. I've had GK's 810 that they don't make anymore. That thing was so big and so heavy. Like it sounded great and it was loud as shit, but it was a fucking pain in the ass. Like try to find somebody to help you take it up to like a venue that's on a second story or in a basement or whatever, and going up and downstairs with that thing. You got a lot of people who conveniently had to go poop or check the parking meter when it was time to fucking move that cab around. I like the Neo ones. They sound really bright, really punchy. They're really light because they use neodymium, or if that's how you pronounce that, instead of your traditional iron. I think they're iron magnets in other speakers. Yeah, they great response on them. I really like the GK Neo stuff. That being said, I would really like to get my hands on one of those Green Boy cabinets. I know Kim is touring with those now, and they're fantastic. They're smaller, but they're like louder and better sounding. Like really cool technology, and however they engineered those things, it's really interesting. So I would like to get my hands on one of those, hopefully soon. But yeah, for cabs, I'm pretty much a GK man through and through.
And pickups.
Yeah. Early on, I had the K&K RB Pro or Plus or whatever it's called. So that's the combination of the piezo wing transducer, and then that's wired stereo with the clicky pickup that you stick on the back of your fingerboard here, and then that went down to a single out, which then took a stereo cable to the preamp, and then one thing I really didn't like about those is that all the tone pots are inside, so you need to take the preamp apart by taking a screw out, and then go in there with the world's smallest, easiest to lose screwdriver, and fucking diddle your tone pots that way. And it was a real bitch to adjust. Really unnecessarily difficult to adjust. That being said, it was a good preamp, and then nothing wrong with it. Good pickups, it sounds great. You had two channels out. You could either you have one standard guitar cable coming out, and have your click and your slap already mixed together, and you had individual tone pots at least on the top to just work the volume of your slap and tone pickups. And then or you could have it so that your tone is coming out one cable and your slap is coming out another cable. But I don't want to be running two amplifiers and two signals out to the board or whatever. I think that's unnecessarily complicated, and there's too many things that can fail there. So I always opted to just like make sure my sound was right before I sent it to my amp, and then just have one cable going out that way. But then I discovered the Shadow system, which I did a YouTube video on. Be sure to go check that out if you're curious about it. It's my favorite. All the tone pots are right on the outside of the preamp. The pickups are excellent on that system. Having things like the frequency notch, the phase switch, the built-in tuner. Like I said, all your tone pots are on the outside. You have individual. Left side is all of your wing pickup stuff. So bass treble mid, and then the other side is your slap side, and then you have like a low cut and then treble over there. Anything else? No, low cut and treble, and then you have your frequency notches there, and then individual gain for each of those channels, and then master volumes for each channel up top. I really like the way it sounds. You don't get a lot of feedback with it because you can dial in everything just the way you like. Excellent battery life. I love them. They're really, 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 really good. And the fact that, you know, they had a double bassist, a slapper on board when they were engineering it with DD Beck, I think that shows in the product that they came out with. It's a really well thought out product, and it's wonderfully engineered.
I have to invite Didi as well, like, to the show. He's one of the first people that I featured on the Art of Slap Bass, like 10 years ago, so over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So we have another comment. Zach Victor was making pickups for a while, and they sound great, and they are very durable.
He's still making those pickups,
I
and
believe so, yeah.
they are very good. They're very affordable, and he'll make them so that you, like, say you burn out your pickups for whatever reason, he makes pickups that you can plug into a shadow system or a K&K system, easy peasy. So his stuff is good. I have played his pickups, and they're very good, very, very good. Try them out.
Do you use any pedals or any effects when you play?
Nope.
And how about what's the stuff that you put in your rack?
So, like I said, I have a DBX rack unit in there, compressor noise gate. I run 3-to-1 or 2-to-1 compression, noise gate, fast attack, fast release, and I really like the sound of that. There's a power conditioner in my rack, and then my amp. Recently, though, I've been playing around a lot with the GK Plex. I've actually been I've been actually playing through it. There we go. I've been playing through it this whole Slapstream. This is what is going to my Focusrite system. So basically, I have it's a really cool system. I have the built-in compression on this, which is really nice, and it also has some GK amp modeling. So right now it's set to a GK 800 RB, and then I have like all my normal GK voicing filters on there as well. You know, presence and what's the other one called? Contour. So I really like that, and I'm actually thinking about using the GK Plex with my Mesa D800 and trying that out. This is a really cool. The Plex is a really cool piece of kit because, like I said, you can plug your headphones in it. You can plug an aux cable into it, and you can it's great for practicing at home. You know, you can sound like loud, like you're a Givener on stage or in your practice room, with your full rig, but in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And then you can play along with your favorite songs. Hopefully some of those are Brain songs or Tiger Army songs, you know what I'm saying? And give those a slap. I think it's a wonderful piece of kit. I really enjoy it. It's also great for recording. You can plug a XLR into it. You can have a USB out to go straight into your Pro Tools or whatever you're using to record. I really like that thing.
You mentioned strings, but please let me know which strings you tried, which ones are the ones that you like, and why you stick to silver slaps.
Yep, silver slaps and gold slaps. Slightly different variations between the two, but for all intents and purposes, like pretty much the same. So Innovation, which was recently bought by GHS, they make these strings, the silver and gold slaps. Ever since I started using those, I've stuck with them through and through. I really like them. They're nylon strings. they're not super low tension. I don't like super low tension. I need the string to snap back into my hand. I don't want to be forcing the string to go everywhere I want it to go. I want it to like have a lot of bounce and like a good snappy response to it. I've tried bumping strings. Let's see. So I had this Labella Super Nils, and then I did Super Nil EA Gut DG, and I did full gut. Too much maintenance. Too much maintenance to tour with. Let's see. And then after that, I think I tried whackers for a minute, weed whackers for a minute at the Superior Bassworks. Makes some decent whackers, really cheap if you want to get into those. They're decent. And then I stuck with Innovation after that. I really like them. I've tried bumped rotos. Not enough tension for me. They're great, but they don't feel right in my hand. So I really like these. I think they feel good. They sound good. They play good. They don't thrash the shit out of your fingers too bad. So yeah, I like those a lot. Try them out.
How often do you have to change them?
Depends on how much I'm touring. Like these ones, they've been on there for probably a year, honestly. But ideally, I like to change them every 2 or 3 tours. I like to swap them out.
That's every 6 months or so?
Maybe every 9 months. 6 to 9 months. Depending on how grody they get, how yucky they become.
And when you tour, do you always use your own bass or you sometimes rely on the back line?
I try to always use my own bass. That's why I have one in Europe, one here. They're definitely like you say, it's fun to go to Mexico, but when we do that, it's usually just a fly in, fly out kind of a deal. And you sort of get what you get. And in that case, what I'll do is I'll bring my Deuce bridge, and my pickup system and my strings. And
so you would use Deuce bridge and someone else's bass, so you would do some setup, huh?
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. I like having my strings at a certain height. I like being able to dial in the pressure on my pickups with the Allen keys, like wing slot tension adjuster thing. I really like that. I gotta pee again. I'm going for the world record, baby. Let's go. Then we'll get back to that in a second. I'll be right back.
All right, we're almost done with Slapstream number 38. I'm really thankful that all of you guys are here and that you've been watching the show from all over the world. So cool. If you haven't, please subscribe to my channel, slap that subscribe button and like, and let me know who would you like me to feature next. Let me know in the comments under the video. Seems that everyone loves Psychobilly a lot, so I might try to put a little more Psycho players then. I always try to make, to show diversity of the style, so that works as well. All right, so Colin is back.
Yes, sorry about that. I'm going for the world record, most P breaks ever. Try and beat me. I dare you. So yeah, we were talking about backline basses and
yeah. Okay.
putting my shit on there.
Do you have any? So, do you ever fly with your bass?
Yes, I used to a lot, and
Do you
then
have any suggestions like how to fly? Any tricks?
man, like, that's the thing is like, I've had neck snap in flight cases. Like if you fly with your bass and it's not like with you at all times, like in your control and possession, you're really at the mercy of the baggage handlers, you know. I've now I've got one of those big metal fucking flight cases, but it is like only for, you know, if I'm gonna throw my bass in a trailer every night, or if I absolutely have to fly somewhere and absolutely have to have my bass for whatever reason. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't suggest flying with a bass for sure. Like, detension your strings. You know, put it in a good flight case. Hope for the best. In the future, if I were to do it, I would get one of those removable neck bases, or have one of my bases converted, because that's just such a vulnerable spot. You know, it's very tricky flying with them. So, you know, after I think it was Lufthansa snapped the headstock off my King bass that's in Europe. I luckily it was when I was coming home from a tour that they snapped it off instead of going out for a tour. I had it repaired, and then I flew with it one last time to Europe, and then I just left it there. I was like, I'm not fucking with this anymore. It's like the whole flight you're having a fucking panic attack, or at least I am, because that's how I am. So I don't suggest flying with them unless you have a removable neck or can afford to get a seat for it. But like, honestly, like, you can't even fit them in the fucking seat next to you.
You cannot, you know. But I used to fly with bases all the time back in the day, and then you could, I mean, at least in Europe, but you know, you can't do that.
Now the overhead bins are so low over you. It doesn't fit, and there's not enough leg room to get it like cocked over to the side enough.
You tried?
No, because I know, like, I would just go, like, I know how tall my bass is, I know how tall I am, and then I'm just like in the seat, and I'm sitting there. I was like,
I would try to get it onto the plane, like, you know, one of the first ones, and I would put it in the restroom.
Yeah, but then
I did that a couple times.
You're a fucking pariah for the whole flight because your goddamn bass is taking up one of the bathrooms.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's tough.
Bigly every time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're balling out of control and can get one of those like lay flat first class seats for your bass,
wow.
but at that point, like, the seat is gonna cost you like $6-7 grand. Just fucking buy a bass when you get there.
I know.
Yeah.
So, like, let me see. Like, I have a couple more questions for you. Is there any particular way that you like to record your bass, and how do you record your bass?
Okay, so we've done it a few different times, but for me, the tried and true method is to have a DI out the head, mic on the cab, and then a mic on the bass. Sometimes we'll do just DI and mic on the cab. I'm sure in the future I'm definitely going to be using my Plex to do some recording. I really like the way it sounds through there. You know, right out the USB or right out the DI channel. But we have done some crazy shit where it's like, you know, we got two mics on the cab, one close, one far. We got two mics on the bass. We got one close to the fingerboard and one close to the F-hole. We got a DI, and then we also have a signal split direct from the preamp, and then splitting the preamp signal so it's slap and tone. And like, there was one album we did, I don't remember which one. It might have been Zombie Nation, but we went like crazy overkill. Like, we had so many slap or bass channels going on. You know, there must have been at least six, 7 channels of bass going into the board. And you don't need to do that. I think if you're playing in like a psychobilly band or a rockabilly band, you can get away with like, one microphone on the bass and a DI channel and one on the cab if you want. Or you could even just go straight DI. It's really up to you and what you want. What you want to sound like, how natural you want your tone to be, or whatever.
But do you have your favorite way, or
Yeah, it's
experiment?
my favorite sound is DI. That's my favorite sound. So I'll do DI sound and a mic on the cab, just 2 channels.
Like on a
Easy.
cat. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And do you remember when you did that? What do you say? 6 channels? What were those?
So it was microphone on the bass, so like F hole, and then fingerboard, so 2 mics there, and then 2 on the cabinet, so one close and one further away microphone from the cabinet, and then 2 direct outs from my or was it, I don't remember if it was 1 or 2, if we split the slap and tone channels, or if it was DI and then straight out from the preamp. I don't remember which one it was, but I know there was like 6 channels. That might have been it. It might have been slap and tone, close and far on the cab,
Hmm.
and then DI out, and then 1 on the bass maybe. So yeah, 6. It was crazy, man.
And so you don't like using a microphone dedicated just for slap?
Not anymore. No. I,
Uh,
I, f- I find that like with the gear and my setup, that I can dial in my slap tone enough to where I like it, and I can just have one signal coming out of the bass and send that to my amplifier.
and I want to check out that sound. Like, is that sound on any record? Like that you mentioned, the six signal.
Yeah, it was I think it was on Zombie Nation, the first one I
Okay,
was in the band for.
all right, I have to check that out.
Yeah. I don't know how many of those channels he ended up keeping or using, but I certainly know
Ah,
we recorded them.
got it.
Yeah.
All right, so I would like to hear you play a little bit, and then I have one more question for you. Is
Okay.
there anything else that you would like to mention, promote, talk about before we do the outro?
No, check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Colin the Dead. Check out my Instagram at Colin the Dead. Say hi on Facebook. If you have any questions for me that we didn't cover here, you can reach out to me for that. If you want to throw a buttload of cash at me to get some lessons, we can talk about that. But yeah, I don't know. Just check out our videos on YouTube. Listen to our music on the streaming services. Buy an album if you can, and yeah, that's it.
Oh, there was a one question that I skipped. That thing. I'm just like looking now. Um, so I believe it was Carolyn. Oh, I can't find it now. Oh yeah, she asked you about your cat.
Yes,
She said, "What type of a cat that is?"
he is a Sphinx.
Oh, that's what she asked.
Yeah, he is a Sphinx cat. He is naturally hairless. No, we did not shave him. And his name is Yoda.
Yoda. Okay. All right. So what you gonna play?
You know what? Charlie wanted to hear a Hypnophonics song, so I'll play one Hypnophonics song from our latest release. The album is called Citizens of Oblivion. I think I'll do that. Yeah, I think I'll probably play the title track, Citizen of Oblivion.
Let's make that happen.
All right, I'll be just get my stuff set up, and I'll be right back.
All right. So hope it was a pleasure for you to hear Colin talk and play. We got like a few more comments. Redback Lounge. I try to watch this slap stream every weekend. Thank you. Um, And what else? Oh, Labashiri asked, like, Georgia, do you teach lessons? Yes, I do. I love teaching lessons. I've been doing that for, I don't know, 20 years or something. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I usually do not have that much time. Now I have a little more time, but not that much. But anyway, I do that through Patreon, or you can email me at lessons@djordjestijepovic.com. It seems that Colin is ready, so let's rock and roll. All right. Uh, cool. I have one more question. So you have, as we said, like, 15-year-old, you know, 15-year long career, and uh, it's been, especially this last year was challenging. But being a musician, especially being touring musician, it's challenging all the time. What inspired you to still do what you do?
It's well, honestly, it's like it's mostly a selfish reason. It's just because I enjoy it so damn much. Like I said, the science and pharmacology have not produced a drug that can make you feel the way that you feel while you're playing a gig. You know, if you enjoy the music and you're playing what you want to play, and the crowd is enjoying it and you're enjoying it. There's nothing like that. So that's my first motivation. The second motivation is the fans, the people who enjoy it. I like being able to contribute, some small amount of joy to their life. Um, to see the emotion that live music or even records can evoke in people. It can brighten your day. It can make you feel mad, or make you want to party, or make you sad. I think being a part of people's lives through my playing is such a wild thing. There's nothing like that too. Whether it's like you helped someone get through a shitty time, or just helped somebody to get drunk with their buddies, like to be able to touch people with our art is such a powerful experience. And so those are the big two for me.
Definitely, that connection is something special.
Yeah.
You got like a lots of wash hands and clapping hands,
Thank you.
nice or nice, and all of that. Um, Thanks a lot for being part of the slap stream. I'm glad we were able to make this happen. I wish you luck especially with your kids and with
Thank you.
everything else. And I hope we'll get a chance to tour again one of these days.
Yeah, I would love that, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure. Yeah, I haven't seen all 38 episodes, but I've seen a few of them, and I've really, really enjoyed them. And it's such a cool thing that you're doing. I think that you're helping a lot of new players, um, or people who are just not so familiar with it, who aren't even necessarily players, who are just have an interest in it. I think it's awesome what you're doing, and I applaud you for that, and thank you for that.
Thanks a
And
lot.
yeah, it's been a real pleasure, man. Thanks.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you. You too. Hopefully we get out there, and I'll see you soon on the stage,
Yeah,
baby.
exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Sayonara. Ciao. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
All right, that was a 38th episode. Like 38th episode. 38th episode of Talking Slap Bass with some of my favorite players, some of my favorite slap bass players. 38th episode of the Slapstream with Djordje live from Slapsville. Um, Thanks to all of you for being with us, for 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours we talked about Colin's career and slap bass. Um, Amazing, amazing. Like, and all of you are still here. Thanks a lot. I would like to remind you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please slap that subscribe button, slap that like button, leave a comment, especially if you want me to feature one of your favorite slap bass players. I'm not sure for how long I'm going to be able to do this, uh, especially once we go back to normal. And if I go back touring. But until then, I'll be around. I'm inspired and I love talking bass. I love talking slap. So let me know who's your favorite player. Let me know who you would like me to feature. And I'll do my best to do that. If you'd like to support my work, please check out Venmo and PayPal links below for donations. And please check out Patreon. Patreon has been great. I love that platform. And what else? Huge shout out to Nikki Lugoshi for doing the graphics. Uh, he's been doing that lately, and that's thanks a lot, Nikki. And don't forget, never fret. Slide it in smooth and keep it in a groove. This is Djordje. your friendly neighborhood bull fiddle cat, and I will see you next Saturday.